Chapter 2061. After exchanging blows with Yi Li earlier, the men in black and gray knew that Yi Li's skills were out of the ordinary. If they continued to fight, they would only lose their lives. In the end, it was money and not life. Not to mention that they might not even be able to protect their own lives. What was the point of earning that little bit of money? The black-clothed man and the gray-clothed man hurriedly shirked their responsibility. "Hero, this has nothing to do with us. It was Miss Murong who did it. Everything was done by her. We only listened to her orders and took the money to do it. She gave this girl an aphrodisiac just now. I think it's taking effect now. But we didn't do anything to her. Great hero, every injustice has its perpetrator and every debt has its debtor. If you want to pursue the matter, go to Miss Murong. Let us go, I beg you." When Yi Li heard that Murong Xuan had given Xiaoyuner an aphrodisiac and arranged for so many beggars to come and defile Xiaoyuner, his eyes revealed a hint of hatred. This woman's methods were too vicious. Other injuries were fine, but this kind of injury was probably more serious than taking Xiaoyuner's life. Fortunately, he had discovered it in time and rushed over. Otherwise, Xiaoyuner would have been defiled by now. Just thinking about it made Yi Li's chest hurt. It was so uncomfortable that he couldn't speak. Now that Xiaoyuner had been given an aphrodisiac and the effects of the aphrodisiac were taking effect, what should he do? What could he do to help Xiaoyuner? After the men in black and gray finished speaking, Yi Li stared at Murong Xuan. He saw that Murong Xuan had a devastatingly beautiful face, but her heart was more vicious than snakes and scorpions. Compared to Xiaoyuner, she was really 108,000 miles away, yet she still wanted to frame Xiaoyuner. Murong Xuan was a little scared by Yi Li's stare. She weakly replied, "Who are you? What do you want?" Murong Xuan did not expect that a man would suddenly run over to save Xiaoyuner. Moreover, he was so skilled that no one could beat him. "Who I am is not important. You'll know what I want in a moment." Yi Li replied coldly. She then turned to Xiaoyuner and asked gently, "Yuner, this woman treated you like this. She can't be forgiven. Tell me, how should we punish her?" At this time, Xiaoyuner's face was flushed red. Her body was very uncomfortable, and her divine sense had become a little confused. Facing Yi Li, especially that exquisite face of Yi Li, there seemed to be a voice in her heart telling her to pounce on this handsome man and eat him up. The moment her spiritual consciousness sobered up, Xiaoyuner once again suppressed this evil desire. She absolutely could not do this to Yi Li. More importantly, she could not make Mu Lianfeng a cuckold. Murong Xuan saw Yi Li and Xiaoyuner like this. She scolded sarcastically, "Xiaoyuner, you are really bitchy. Isn't it enough to have my cousin? You even seduced other men outside and flirted with other men. A snake whose heart is not content will swallow an elephant. Xiaoyuner, I don't know when my cousin will see your face clearly. It's really disgusting." Yi Li looked at Murong Xuan unhappily. For the sake of Xiaoyuner's reputation, Yi Li sternly explained, "There is nothing between Yuner and me. Please don't slander her. You're already like this. How can you say there is nothing between you? You two bitches. I must tell my cousin. Xiaoyuner, you bitch." Chapter 2062. In addition to being vicious, this woman's mouth was equally vicious. How could anyone listen to what she said? From the looks of it, this kind of woman could not be let go. Although Xiaoyuner did not answer him how he should punish Murong Xuan, Yi Li already had an answer in his heart. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Since Murong Xuan could do this kind of thing, it was not impossible for him to take revenge on Xiaoyuner for this kind of thing. Yi Li stood up and looked at Murong Xuan condescendingly. The corner of his mouth hooked up into a cold arc. He said to Murong Xuan, "Which man would like a woman like you? You can't even compare to Yuner's finger. Since you hurt Yuner so much, I'll make you suffer." "What do you want?" Murong Xuan felt the danger emanating from Yi Li and asked worriedly. Yi Li did not answer Murong Xuan. Instead, he greeted the beggars on the side. "Do you want to live?" The beggars quickly nodded and responded, "Of course we want to live. Who doesn't want to live? Hero, this matter has nothing to do with us. Please let us go. We just received a little money. We were helping this lady. We really didn't want to hurt anyone. Hero, we're just a group of beggars. We're miserable enough. Please let us go. We won't dare to do it again." In the face of the beggars begging, Yi Li hooked up the corner of his mouth and ordered the beggars, "If you want me to let you go, it's easy. Just do something for me." The beggars said, "Hero, if there's anything you want us to do, just tell us. We'll do it if we can." "Yes, Hero. We'll do as you say as long as you spare our lives." Yi Li stared at Murong Xuan on the ground, then said to the beggars, What did this woman ask you to do to Yuner? Now you're doing it to her. The beggars were stunned for a moment. After confirming it, they asked, Hero, are you asking us to rape her? Yili nodded. A few of the beggars began to worry. Hero, this is the young miss of a high official's family. We are the lowest of beggars. How would we dare to touch her? Hero, why don't you change your conditions? We can't do it and we don't dare to do it. Please don't make things difficult for us. In the end, the beggars were afraid of Murong Shuang's identity because Murong Shuang was the daughter of a high-ranking official. In this day and age, the people that they could not afford to offend were officials. Yili sneered, since you're so afraid, then forget it. I won't force you. As for your lives, don't blame me for taking them. The beggars trembled in fear. Yili did not give them any leeway. If they didn't do it, they would die right now. What was the point of their worries? If he lost his life, there was no point in talking about anything else. Hero, we'll do it, we'll do it. We'll do as you say as long as you spare our lives. As they spoke, the beggars walked towards Murong Shuang's direction. Murong Shuang's pupils constricted for a moment. She never expected that Zhao Yuner, who was supposed to be the one to be raped, would be raped. Now she was the one being raped. In this lifetime, only her cousin could see her body. So what if a group of beggars saw it? Not to mention waiting for these beggars to defile her, he was too ashamed to face Mu Lianfeng in this situation. As soon as those beggars saw the naked Murong Shuang, their eyes immediately went straight. Chapter 2064. Any man who saw her would not be able to suppress the impulse in their heart and would want to have a good time. To be able to sleep with such a woman, one could be considered to have reached the state of drunken stupor. As the saying goes, if one were to die under a peony, one would still be a romantic ghost. If Murong Shuang really wanted to seek revenge in the future, it would be fine. At least for now they would have a good time. Based on Murong Shuang's appearance, even the top courtesan of Hua Man Lu could not compare to her. However, to sleep with the top courtesan of Hua Man Lu once, it would cost hundreds to thousands of taels of silver. If they could rape Murong Shuang this time, it would definitely be a profit for them. Brothers, come quickly. To be able to sleep with such a stunning woman, even if you die in the future, it won't be a pity. Yeah, it won't be a pity even if you lose your life. In any case, you can have fun. Such a beautiful woman, the taste of doing it will definitely be extraordinary. Stop talking, I'll go first. Let me have a taste. I'll go first, let me go first. No, I just took off her clothes. Naturally, I'll go first. Everyone has to pay attention to first come, first served. Don't fight, line up. A few beggars argued for a while and finally discussed the order. A few of them helped to hold down Murong Shuang's hands and feet so that Murong Shuang could not break free. The one who went first quickly took off his pants and impatiently put his thing inside, having fun on Murong Shuang's body. An intense pain spread throughout Murong Shuang's body. Murong Shuang felt as if a sharp object had pierced her lower body, and she could not help but tremble in pain. However, the beggar who was galloping on her body did not pity her at all. Instead, the more he did it, the happier he felt and the more his movements became. At this moment, aside from the heart-wrenching pain, Murong Shuang also felt unparalleled humiliation. Her body had been defiled by beggars, these smelly, old and ugly beggars. They actually touched her body. Murong Shuang suddenly felt disgusted and wanted to vomit. She cried out in pain and humiliation at the same time. Let me go, let me go. I'm going to kill each and every one of you. No, wouldn't it be too easy to kill you all? I'm going to turn each and every one of you into human swine. For treating me like this, I'll pay you back double. I'll make all of you wish you were dead. Murong Shuang's mournful voice echoed in the ruined house. Unfortunately, no one paid any attention to her shouts. The humiliation continued. When Murong Shuang took off her clothes, Yili shifted his sharp gaze away. He did not look at Murong Shuang's body like the other men. At the same time, he walked in front of Zhao Yuner and blocked Zhao Yuner's line of sight. He was afraid that Zhao Yuner would see such a filthy scene later. His Yuner was noble and pure in his heart, so she definitely couldn't see such a dirty scene. Zhao Yuner's divine sense was muddled, but in a moment of clarity she knew what Yili had done to Murong Shuang. Although this method was indeed cruel, Zhao Yuner did not have the slightest bit of sympathy. How could she sympathize with Murong Shuang? If Yili had not rushed over in time, she would be the one suffering the same fate as Murong Shuang. Since she could be so cruel to her, when Yili made this decision she could not stop him. Chapter 2065. Zhao Yuner could hear the man's panting. She knew what was happening in the room. Being stirred up by these sounds, the desire in her body began to flare up again. Zhao Yun'er only felt that her chest was stuffy. Her body was also itchy and hot. She wished she could take off all her clothes at this moment to cool down. Hurry up. Once you're done, let's have a go. Don't hog it all to yourself. Some of the beggars who were watching from the side could not help but urge the man who was riding on Murong Shuang's body. The man replied reluctantly, Wait, what's the rush? I haven't had my fill yet. Then how long are you going to do it alone? Don't the rest of us have to do it? Hurry up, I'm dying of impatience. If you don't hurry up, we'll be suffocated. All right. Soon. Don't rush me. The more you rush me, the more I can't get it out. Phew. When he finally came out, the beggar let out a sigh of relief. Glancing at the essence that he had left behind beneath Murong Shuang's body, he curled his lips into a satisfied smile and laughed. A long time ago he also had a wife. However, after De Huang's death he escaped. His wife died on the way and he became a beggar. After so many years without a wife, he had not done this kind of thing for a long time. Now that he suddenly did it, and on such a beautiful woman's body, it was simply too satisfying. That feeling was something that his previous wives couldn't compare to. Now he did not care whether he lived or died. After all, he was a beggar with a cheap life. Today he received such a great benefit. He would not have any regrets if he died someday. The other beggars quickly followed the previously discussed order and continued to ride Murong Shuang's body. At first, Murong Shuang was screaming miserably. In the end, not only was there no effect, her voice was even hoarse from screaming. Murong Shuang's eyes widened in despair. Looking at the ceiling, her eyes were filled with sadness and emptiness. At this moment she even had the heart to die. Her body was defiled. Would her cousin still look at her in the eye? Would anyone still want her in the future? Perhaps it was better to die. In any case, if this matter were to be known by others, she would no longer have the courage to continue living. She did not want to become a joke in the mouths of other young ladies from official families. The pain in his lower body gradually became numb, and there was no reaction. She was lying on the ground like a puppet. When the beggars were almost done with their work, Yili found that Zhao Yun'er's situation was getting worse. He said to the beggars, Well, your task has been completed. I will let you go now. You can go now. Several beggars hurriedly thanked Yili. Thank you, hero. Yili did not say anything. Instead, he picked up Zhao Yun'er from the ground and walked out of the dilapidated house. He wanted to take Zhao Yun'er to the medical center. Maybe the medical center could help Zhao Yun'er get rid of the effects of the drug. Waiting for Yi Li and Zhao Yun'er to leave, Murong Shuang's maid thought that these beggars would be able to restrain themselves and forget about their young lady. However, how could these addicted beggars be willing to leave Murong Shuang's body? Even without Yi Li's oppression, they still wanted to continue to have fun. Chapter 2066. After a long time, the beggars finally stopped and left in groups, leaving Murong Shuang lying on the ground unable to move. Murong Shuang was naked and her body was covered in bruises. Especially her lower body, which was stained with blood. It was a ghastly sight. Murong Shuang's maid was scared out of her wits. She rushed to Murong Shuang's side and asked, Miss, how are you? Are you all right? Miss, say something. Don't be like me. If you died, I wouldn't be able to live either. Miss, looking at Murong Shuang who was lying on the ground with her eyes wide open and looking up at the ceiling, the maid was scared out of her wits. She thought that something serious had happened to Murong Shuang and she didn't even say a word. It was really scary. Miss. The maid reached out her hand in fear and put her finger under Murong Shuang's nose. Seeing that Murong Shuang didn't say anything, she thought that Murong Shuang was dead. If Murong Shuang was really dead, then the situation would be even more serious. Fortunately, when she put her finger under Murong Shuang's nose, she felt a trace of breath. The maid heaved a sigh of relief. Miss, you don't have to say anything. How are you? The maid begged as she cried. Murong Shuang suddenly reached out her hands and slapped the maid's face. Slap. A red handprint appeared on the little handmaiden's face. Murong Shuang had used the last of her strength to slap the little handmaiden. The little handmaiden was stunned for a moment. Feeling the burning pain on her face, the maid's lips trembled and she asked Murong Shuang, Miss, what happened to you? Why did you hit me? Seeing the maid's aggrieved face, Murong Shuang's face twisted and her gloomy eyes fell on the maid. Why weren't you the one who went through all this? Miss, why couldn't you stop them? You're just a good-for-nothing. What's the use of having you? Miss, I couldn't stop them. I'm just a weak woman. I'm no match for them. If I could, I'd like to take your place. The little handmaiden wiped her eyes with her sleeve and sobbed. Hee, what's the use of saying all this now? I've been destroyed. It's too late. What? Wasn't it Xiaoyun who went through all this today? How did it become like this? Xuanhuan found it hard to imagine how such a sudden change could happen and caught her unprepared. If she knew what happened, she would never have chosen to lay a hand on Xiaoyun. However, it was too late to say all this now. Some things had already happened, and they could not be changed or erased. Xuanhuan, who had once been arrogant, might have died today. Xuanhuan could not find a reason to live. She would only become a joke in the future and would be despised by her cousin. Then what was the point of living in this world? The maids faced to see Xuanhuan's face. Young miss, this servant will help you put on your clothes and send you to the medical hall. You've suffered such heavy injuries. If you don't treat them properly, you might even lose your life. Chapter 2067. After the little handmaiden finished speaking, she picked up Xuanhuan's torn clothes from the floor and hurriedly helped her put them back on. Unfortunately, these clothes were already torn and shredded. Even if Xuanhuan put them back on, they could only cover up her embarrassment. If anyone were to see her in such a disheveled state, it was likely that gossip would spread. Moreover, how could she carry Xuanhuan with her frail body? It would not be easy to get Xuanhuan back to her room. After giving it some thought, the little handmaiden said to Xuanhuan, "My lady, you can't go out like this. Why don't you rest here for a while? I'll go back to the crown prince's mansion and find you a set of clean clothes. Then I'll call for some help." Xuanhuan did not make a sound. She continued to stare blankly at the ceiling. The little handmaiden sighed. She could not care less at the moment. She could only do as she said. After glancing at Xuanhuan, the little handmaiden got up and left. Sigh. Not long after, the little handmaiden hurried back to the crown prince's mansion with some help and clothes. Then she returned and helped Xuanhuan bring them back. On the other hand, after Yi Li carried Xiaoyun away, in Yi Li's arms, Xiaoyun realized that the effects of the medicine had become stronger. Her body was warm and she desperately wanted to vent. Her body uncontrollably burrowed into Yi Li's arms. Yi Li looked at the blushing Xiaoyun in his arms who could not stop rubbing against him. His heart could not help but tremble. A strange feeling surged into his heart. Yuna. Yi Li could not help but murmur. Xiaoyun let out a low moan. Her voice was soft and fluffy. Anyone who heard it would feel their heart being stirred. How could he not have any reaction when he had a soft jade in his arms, especially when he was facing the woman he liked? Yi Li couldn't help but swallow. He was still suppressing the feelings in his heart, suppressing those thoughts that he shouldn't have. He quickened his pace and rushed to the clinic with Xiaoyun. After a while, Yi Li and Xiaoyun finally arrived at the clinic. "Where is the doctor? Doctor, come quickly and treat her." Yi Li shouted anxiously. "Young master, there are more patients today. There are still many people waiting in line. You should go and line up as well. When it's your turn you can come over." Seeing Yi Li cut in line, the doctor in the clinic greeted Yi Li. Yi Li glanced at the people in the clinic. There were indeed a lot of people. If he waited any longer, by the time these people finished treating their illnesses, who knew what would happen to Xiaoyun? Yi Li did not dare to gamble with Xiaoyun's health. He only hoped that the doctor could take a look at Xiaoyun as soon as possible. "Doctor, I'm in a hurry. Can you take a look at me first?" Yi Li begged. The doctor frowned and refused. "You're in a hurry. Who isn't in a hurry to see a doctor? If I make an exception and let you take a look first, it would be unfair to the others. You should line up one by one. Do you think I'll only let you take a look at me then? I have to follow the rules. If you don't think it's possible, then go to another clinic." Chapter 2068. First come, first served. Since we queued up first, it's only natural for us to go first. Who wouldn't be anxious when they come to see a doctor? They hope that the doctor can help them as soon as possible. My stomach is still hurting so much that I can't breathe. I'm still waiting obediently. That's right. Could it be that you're the only one who's in a hurry? Others aren't? Young man, you should line up obediently. Don't cut in line and don't make things difficult for the doctor. Yi Li couldn't help but frown when he heard the words of the doctor and the other patients. If he continued to wait, it would definitely be too late. In the current situation, he didn't know how long it would take for him to find another medical center. He would definitely be delayed on the way. Moreover, when he was asking for directions, the passers-by told him that this medical center had the best doctor in the entire capital. If he took Xiaoyun to another place, the other doctors might not be able to help Xiaoyun solve her current situation. Faced with this situation, Yi Li had no choice but to draw his sword and place it on the doctor's neck. "Are you going to take a look now? If you don't, I'll kill you." The doctor trembled for a moment. Who would have thought that Yili would threaten him like this? Everyone was afraid of death. Although he was a doctor, he was no exception. Yes, yes, I'll take a look now. Young master, don't be rash. Be careful of the sword in your hand. Don't touch me, the doctor replied in a trembling voice. He no longer had the domineering aura from before. The other patients didn't dare to say anything. Faced with a crazy man like Yili, if they said anything, the sword on the doctor's neck might fall on their necks. They weren't fools. They didn't want to die and provoke this kind of person. Yili said in a low voice, "As long as you treat my illness, I won't hurt you." The doctor quickly nodded and replied, "Yes, yes, yes. Young master, please come in. Bring your young lady to the inner room. I'll take a good look." Yili responded, then carried Xiaoyuner to the inner room of the medical center. There was a couch inside. The doctor asked Yili to place Xiaoyuner on the couch, then let Xiaoyuner lie down. He then helped Xiaoyuner to check on her condition. After taking a look, the doctor immediately understood what was going on. "Doctor, how is it? Was there anything wrong with her? How can you treat her?" The doctor replied, "Young master, this young lady was only drugged with aphrodisiac is not a problem. As long as she had intercourse, the drug would naturally dissipate, and she would not have any major problems. From the looks of it, young master and young lady should be husband and wife, right? Why don't young master do it now? The girl will be fine soon." When Yili heard the doctor's words, her face immediately turned red. He and Yuner? How could that be? Although he liked Zhao Yuner very much, if he had sex with Zhao Yuner in this situation, he could still save Zhao Yuner's life. But he wasn't a shameless person. If he took advantage of Zhao Yuner in this situation, it would only make him feel disdain. When Zhao Yuner recovered her divine sense, she would inevitably hate him and blame him. When that time came, they couldn't even be friends. That would be a huge waste. Chapter 2069. The doctor furrowed his brows, then shook his head and sighed. Aside from sexual intercourse, there's no other way to solve this problem. Young master, if you don't want this girl to lose her life, then you should take her. I'm sure she won't blame you if she finds out. In the end, chastity isn't as important as life. In the future you can just marry each other. It's not a big deal. Yili was unwilling to give up and asked, "Doctor, is there really no other way?" The doctor shook his head again. "Young master, there really isn't. I'm not the only one who doesn't have a way. I'm afraid all the doctors in the capital won't be able to find a way. Young master, please forgive this old man for not being able to help." Yili's expression darkened. From the doctor's expression, it seemed like there really wasn't any other way. He couldn't force the doctor to do something against his will. Even if he killed the doctor now, he still wouldn't be able to save Zhao Yuner. The doctor stood up and said to Yili, "Young master, I'll leave the inner room to you. This old man will go out and help treat the other patients. Young master, have you thought about whether or not to use this method to save this girl?" After the doctor finished speaking, he stood up and left. Yili glanced at Zhao Yuner, who was lying on the couch. At this moment, Zhao Yuner's face was even redder and hotter. Her condition was even worse than before. As for Zhao Yuner, because her body was getting hotter and hotter, she continuously tore at her clothes. "So hot," Zhao Yuner muttered. Her mouth was dry and astringent. It was very uncomfortable. Yili stood by the side watching over her. He was very anxious, but there was nothing he could do. He didn't feel good. Especially when he saw Zhao Yuner's pained expression, Yili felt his heart ache terribly. "Yuner," Yili whispered in Zhao Yuner's ear. Zhao Yuner opened her eyes and looked at Yili's handsome and exquisite face. "You, keep your distance from me. Stay away from me," Zhao Yuner said with some difficulty. "Yuner?" Yili was a little confused. He didn't know what Zhao Yuner meant. Could it be that she was blaming him? Seeing Yili's confusion, Zhao Yuner furrowed her brows in pain and explained with some difficulty, "You're too close to me. I'm afraid I won't be able to resist eating you." Yili was stunned. Then he understood what Zhao Yuner meant by eating him. Her face couldn't help but turn red. According to Zhao Yuner's words, she helped to keep a distance from Zhao Yuner. Zhao Yuner felt that she was about to lose control of herself. She had to do something. When she completely lost her divine sense, she was really afraid that she would do something impulsive. Zhao Yuner reached out and touched the hairpin on her head. Then she took it off. Gritting his teeth, he hardened his heart and cut open a huge wound on his arm. Then blood gushed out from her arm. At this time, Zhao Yuner felt a trace of pain. It was this pain that made her sober up a lot. The smell of blood filled her nose, but Zhao Yuner hooked up the corner of her mouth and smiled. Because this sober feeling diluted the desire in her body, she felt a lot better. Yili was a little frightened. Seeing Zhao Yun'er's bleeding arm, he hurriedly asked Zhao Yun'er, "Yun'er, what are you doing? How can you hurt yourself? Hurry and stop." Chapter 2070. Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er furrowed her brows in pain, then said in a low voice, "Yi Li, thank you for today. Can I trouble you to send me back now?" "Eh." Yi Li quickly responded. Zhao Yun'er thanked him gratefully, "Thank you." If Yi Li hadn't appeared in time today, she didn't know what would have happened. But in her current situation she couldn't say much, so she could only endure it. She would thank Yi Li again when she got better. Yi Li shook his head. "Yun'er, why are you being so polite with me? I'm willing to do anything for you." As Yi Li spoke, he carried Zhao Yun'er in his arms and walked out of the clinic. He rented a carriage on the street and hurriedly sent Zhao Yun'er back to Xuanhuan village. On the way he kept urging the coachman to hurry up, afraid that Zhao Yun'er would be delayed. After about 10 minutes they finally arrived at Zhao Yun'er's home. Along the way, because Zhao Yun'er's wound was bleeding, Zhao Yun'er's lips gradually became pale, and a layer of cold sweat seeped out from her forehead. Yi Li was also worried the whole way. It was really the first time she had seen a woman treat herself like this. How cruel must she be to hurt herself so deeply? But because of this, Yi Li felt that Zhao Yun'er was different from other women. Compared to Zhao Yun'er, those ordinary women were not worth mentioning. When they arrived at Zhao Yun'er's house, Yi Li quickly greeted Zhao Yun'er's family. At this moment he saw Mu Lianfeng walk out of the house. He originally wanted to carry Zhao Yun'er out of the carriage, but he knew that in front of Zhao Yun'er's family, especially Mu Lianfeng who might be staying at Zhao Yun'er's house, he was afraid that others would have misunderstandings. It didn't matter what others thought of him. What was important was that he was afraid of affecting Zhao Yun'er. What happened to Yun'er? When Mu Lianfeng heard that something had happened to Zhao Yun'er, his face instantly turned pale and he quickly rushed in the direction of the carriage. He opened the curtain and saw Zhao Yun'er, who was covered in blood and had a pale face. When Mu Lianfeng saw this situation, his heart skipped a beat. "Yun'er." When Zhao Yun'er heard Mu Lianfeng's voice, she looked up. "Yun'er, what happened to you?" At this moment, Zhao Yun'er was so weak that she couldn't speak. Yi Li quickly said, "Miss Yun'er's arm is injured and she's bleeding a lot. You'd better take her back to the house first. We'll explain this matter later." Mu Lianfeng was silent for a moment, then he quickly carried Zhao Yun'er out of the carriage and carried her back to the house. Zhao Yun'er's family was also badly frightened. When Liang Jinxiao saw the blood-stained Zhao Yun'er in Mu Lianfeng's arms, he immediately felt his legs go weak. If Zhao Wenhua hadn't supported him in time, he would have fallen to the ground. "Yun'er's father, what happened to Yun'er?" Liang Jinxiao's lips trembled as he asked worriedly. Zhao Wenhua's face was also dark as he looked worriedly at Zhao Yun'er. He shook his head and said, "I also don't know what happened to Yun'er." "Yun'er's father, your daughter is covered in blood. One look and you can tell that she's seriously injured. What should we do?" Liang Jinxiao muttered worriedly. Chapter 2071. Liang Jinxiao could only comfort himself like this. Yes. Yun'er must be fine. Bodhisattva, please bless her well. Don't let anything happen to her. After silently reciting this sentence, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua were about to go into the room to check on Zhao Yun'er's condition, but they were stopped by Yi Li. "Uncle, aunt, it's better if you don't go. Let the heir take care of her." Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were somewhat puzzled. Why does this young master say that? Yun'er's injuries are so serious that we can't help but worry. That's why we want to check on Yun'er's condition. If there's anything we can help with, we can help in time. Yi Li's face slightly reddened and he weakly explained to Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao, "Yun'er's injuries are not serious. She'll be fine after being properly treated and bandaged. The reason why she looks so serious is because she was drugged with an aphrodisiac." Yi Li explained the situation. Although it was a little melodramatic, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao still understood. Now that they thought about it, it was really thanks to Yi Li that Zhao Yun'er could be saved today. The couple was very grateful. They immediately knelt in front of Yi Li and said to Yi Li, "Benefactor, our Yun'er owes you a lot. If it weren't for you, we don't know what our daughter would be like right now. The reason why Yun'er is safe and sound is all thanks to you. You are our great benefactor. We can't repay you even if we work like a cow or a horse." Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua both knew that if Zhao Yun'er lost her innocence, the consequences would be as serious as Zhao Yun'er losing her life. Yi Li acted in time to save Zhao Yun'er from being tainted, which was equivalent to saving her life. Yili was slightly stunned by Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua's reactions. He quickly helped them up from the ground. Uncle Andy, don't be like this. Get up quickly. I'm just a junior. I can't bear it. I volunteered to help Yuner. I didn't expect anyone to be grateful to me. Even though Yili said so, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Wenhua were still very grateful to Yili. Benefactor, you must be tired. Come in and have a seat. Drink some water. Liang Jinxiao said. Yili hesitated for a moment and was a little embarrassed to go in. No. I think I should head back. Yili declined. Liang Jinxiao looked at the sky. After all the commotion, the sky was almost dark. If he rushed back now, he didn't know if he could make it in time. Of course, the most important thing was that he saved their daughter. In any case, they had to show some appreciation and entertain him. Otherwise, once Yili left, they wouldn't know where to find him. They wouldn't even have a chance to express their gratitude. Benefactor, it's getting late. Why don't you stay at my house for the night? I have a lot of rooms at home. It's fine to tidy up a room, Liang Jinxiao pleaded. Zhao Wenhua also chimed in. That's right, Benefactor. Why don't you stay at our house for the night? We'll cook a few more dishes tonight to entertain you and express our gratitude more or less. And Yuner. Yuner definitely wants to thank you in person. Yili wanted to refuse, but Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were very attentive. One after another, Yili didn't know how to interrupt. In the end, Yili had no choice but to nod and agree to stay for the night. Actually, he was still worried about Zhao Yuner. He could only rest assured when he made sure that Zhao Yuner was completely fine. Chapter 2072. If he stayed today, it would be good if he could talk to Zhao Yuner more. He had left Yang City for so long and he came back this time to see Zhao Yuner. If he stayed, he would naturally have more time to interact with Zhao Yuner. Uncle, Auntie, I'll have to trouble you then. Yili was a little embarrassed as he said to Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao. Liang Jinxiao quickly waved his hand. It's no trouble at all. Please come in, Benefactor. As for Zhao Yuner, Mu Lianfeng hurriedly carried Zhao Yuner into the house. Then he placed Zhao Yuner on the bed and hurriedly rummaged through the cabinets to find the wound medicine that he had brought with him. Blood was still seeping out of Zhao Yuner's arm from time to time. It was obvious that it was very serious. Mu Lianfeng first brought a basin of hot water and wiped the blood off Zhao Yuner's arm. Then he applied the wound medicine on Zhao Yuner's arm, and the bleeding stopped immediately. Mu Lianfeng found a clean white cloth and gently bandaged the wound on Zhao Yuner's arm. Then he saw that Zhao Yuner's face was still very pale, and her expression was even more painful. Mu Lianfeng asked gently, Yuner, do you still feel pain anywhere on your body? Where else are you hurt? Zhao Yuner shook her head. No, the pain in her arm had indeed subsided a lot, but it was precisely because of this that Zhao Yuner's desire rose again. The original pain had suppressed the desire with great difficulty. Now that the pain was gone, another feeling naturally rushed to her heart. But why do you look so uncomfortable? Mu Lianfeng frowned, his face full of worry. Then he reached out and touched Zhao Yuner's forehead. Seeing that Zhao Yuner's forehead suddenly became boiling hot, Mu Lianfeng immediately panicked. What's going on? Yuner, I'd better get a doctor to take a look at you. Lie down first. After all, he was not a doctor. He really could not tell the reason for Zhao Yuner's discomfort, and he did not dare to delay, afraid that he would make a mistake. If anything happened to Zhao Yuner, he could not afford to delay it. There's no need. Seeing that Mu Lianfeng was about to get up and leave, Zhao Yuner hurriedly grabbed Mu Lianfeng's hand and called out to him. Yuner. Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yuner with some confusion. There's no need to get a doctor. You're enough. Zhao Yuner said softly. Mu Lianfeng was slightly stunned. No one understood the meaning of Zhao Yuner's words. Zhao Yuner did not explain. She directly pounced on Mu Lianfeng. Her small hands began to grope Mu Lianfeng's body mischievously. Mu Lianfeng's body trembled. Yuner, looking at the person in his arms, her small face was red. She was shy and at the same time she looked very cute. Zhao Yuner did not stop. She gently groped a few times and unbuttoned Mu Lianfeng's clothes. Mu Lianfeng was even more puzzled. He grabbed Zhao Yuner's hand and said to Zhao Yuner, Yuner, don't mess around. You're injured. How can you mess around like this? What if you tug on your wound? Oh, it's okay. Zhao Yuner replied softly again. Her body was still leaning on Mu Lianfeng. Mu Lianfeng was really helpless. Yuner, what's wrong with you? Are you feeling unwell? You're injured, why are you still? Zhao Yuner lifted her blushing face and looked at Mu Lianfeng's handsome face. Then with a smack sound she kissed him. Chapter 2073. It was really Zhao Yun'er's soft words that made Mu Lianfeng's heart tremble slightly. He wasn't an abstinent man, so how could he stand being provoked by the woman he liked? Mu Lianfeng's throat moved and he called out in a low voice, "Yun'er, I want it. Give it to me." Zhao Yun'er looked at him pitifully as if she was begging. "Yun'er, why do you suddenly want this, in the middle of the day? Why don't we wait until nighttime?" Mu Lianfeng hesitated and asked. In the past, when he wanted to do this to Zhao Yun'er during the day, Zhao Yun'er rejected him very strictly. He did not expect Zhao Yun'er to take the initiative to ask, so Mu Lianfeng felt that something was wrong with Zhao Yun'er. He was afraid that there was something wrong with Zhao Yun'er. He couldn't take advantage of the situation and attack Zhao Yun'er at this time. "No, I want it now. Yun'er, I'm so hot." Zhao Yun'er could not control her body. She did not care so much and directly unbuttoned her clothes. Mu Lianfeng saw that Zhao Yun'er's entire body had become hot and her reaction was so abnormal. He frowned and thought for a while and found that Zhao Yun'er was abnormal. Zhao Yun'er seemed to have been drugged with an aphrodisiac. He had heard a little about the effects of this drug. Although he was not sure if Zhao Yun'er was really drugged with this drug, and did not understand why Zhao Yun'er was drugged with this drug, it was obvious that Zhao Yun'er's body needed to be relieved. If she was not satisfied, she would probably die of discomfort. Zhao Yun'er unbuttoned her clothes, revealing her smooth body. It was the first time that Mu Lianfeng saw Zhao Yun'er like this in the daytime. How could he restrain himself? He had never seen Zhao Yun'er like this before. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er was about to climb over again, Mu Lianfeng hurriedly got up and closed the doors and windows. It was too dangerous to do this in the daytime. If someone broke in and saw it, it would be very embarrassing. After closing the door and windows, Mu Lianfeng came to the bedside. He did not need Zhao Yun'er to continue to provoke him. He also could not control himself and began to press down on her. The two of them tossed and turned. Mu Lianfeng was a little careful when he did it, for fear of hurting Zhao Yun'er's arm. When it was over, the temperature of Zhao Yun'er's hot little face dissipated a lot, and her whole person gradually became sober. Mu Lianfeng was then sure that Zhao Yun'er was indeed under the influence of an aphrodisiac. At the same time, a hint of sharpness flashed across his eyes. If he found out who treated Yun'er like this, he would definitely not let them off easily. "Yun'er, how are you now?" Zhao Yun'er faced Mu Lianfeng with her naked body. She awkwardly tugged at the blanket and covered her body. Then she smiled and said, "I'm fine now. This aphrodisiac was really a little strange." When she was unable to have sex, she felt as if she was bitten by a group of mosquitoes. When it was over, she would immediately be fine. If it were not for Mu Lianfeng, she reckoned that she would have suffocated to death after holding it in for a while. "That's good." Mu Lianfeng breathed a sigh of relief. Then he asked what had happened. Zhao Yun'er did not hide anything. She did not want to forgive or understand what that woman, xuanhuan, had done to her. Even though she knew that that woman was Mu Lianfeng's cousin and that Mu Lianfeng might be in a difficult position, she wanted to know Mu Lianfeng's attitude. If Mu Lianfeng was biased or was not prepared to do anything, she would be very disappointed in this man. Chapter 2074. Mu Lianfeng clenched his fists tightly. With a gloomy face he said coldly, "That girl has gone too far. Yun'er, I'm going to look for her now. How could a lady from a respectable family do such a dirty thing? Since she's so shameless, I don't have to care about her reputation. I must make her pay for this. Even if she dies, she won't be able to make up for her actions. I won't let her off easily for Auntie's sake." Mu Lianfeng pretended to get up and look for Xuanhuan to settle things. He was really angry this time. If Zhao Yun'er hadn't been rescued this time, he couldn't imagine the consequences. If something happened to Zhao Yun'er, perhaps the two of them wouldn't be able to bear the pain. As for Xuanhuan, a debt of blood must be paid in blood. She was so vicious she naturally deserved the same punishment. Although Xuanhuan was his cousin, Zhao Yun'er was more important to him. "I'm going to catch her now. Yun'er, you can punish her however you want. She owes you this." Seeing that Mu Lianfeng was about to go look for Xuanhuan, Zhao Yun'er grabbed Mu Lianfeng's hand. Zhao Yun'er didn't tell Mu Lianfeng that Xuanhuan's innocence had been sullied. If he went now, he would definitely be discovered. "Forget it. It's already very late. Let's go tomorrow. I'm a little tired too. I want to rest well." Zhao Yun'er said softly. "Yun'er, don't you want to punish her now? Don't worry about her leaving Yang City. If she goes to the capital, it'll be difficult for me to catch her." After all, his power didn't have any foundation in the capital. On the other hand, the Murong family was powerful and had some connections with Imperial Consort Hua. When Murong Xuang returned to the capital, it wouldn't be easy to settle the score with Murong Xuang. His aunts and uncles are all protective. Zhao Yun'er's innocence may not be put in their eyes, let alone looking for them to reason with anything. Now the most important thing was to catch Murong Xuang as soon as possible and punish her as soon as possible. Otherwise, undue delay might lead to other problems. Zhao Yun'er still shook her head. No, even if she leaves, it's God's arrangement. I believe that bad people will have their own retribution. Murong Xuang had already been gang raped. Mu Lianfeng had really caught her. Zhao Yun'er did not think of any other punishment. Could it be that he was going to ask her to reincarnate? After what Yi Li had done, Zhao Yun'er had vented her anger. The reason why she still mentioned it to Mu Lianfeng now was to let Mu Lianfeng understand what Murong Xuang had done. She wanted him to know how vicious and evil Murong Xuang was. Now that Murong Xuang had lost her virginity and made Mu Lianfeng hate her, it must be the most painful thing for her. Okay Yun'er, I'll listen to you. When you're better, I'll go and settle the score with her tomorrow. Okay. Zhao Yun'er replied weakly. Just as she got dressed and lay down to rest, Zhao Yun'er thought of Mulan. She had been caught and Mulan had been knocked unconscious. She was still on the mountain and didn't know if she had woken up. There were so many beasts on the mountain that it was easy to get into danger. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly told Mu Lianfeng to go up the mountain and look for her. He must not let anything happen to Mulan. Chapter 2075. Mulan had been running all the way. Now that she was speaking in front of Mu Lianfeng, she was panting and a little out of breath. Her flustered expression made her look very anxious. If he didn't know that Zhao Yun'er was back, he would probably be anxious too when he saw Mulan in this state. Mu Lianfeng asked Mulan, "Sister-in-law Mulan, are you all right?" Mulan waved her hand, then patted her chest and panted heavily. She replied to Mu Lianfeng, "Sir, I'm fine. Don't worry about me. Hurry up and save Yun'er. Yun'er has been kidnapped by two bad guys. She's in danger now. Sister-in-law Mulan, Yun'er has just been rescued by someone. She's worried about your situation and afraid that you're in danger, so she asked me to come and see you," Mu Lianfeng explained. Upon hearing Mu Lianfeng's words, Mulan was slightly stunned. "Sir, is it true? Yun'er is back now. Is she all right?" Mu Lianfeng nodded heavily. "Yes, she's lying in the room now. She should be fine if she has a good rest." Mulan felt that the heavy stone pressing on her chest had finally been lifted. She heaved a long sigh of relief, then said happily, That's good. Yun'er is indeed lucky. She's fine. I was almost scared to death." Mu Lianfeng pursed his lips and replied politely, "Sister-in-law Mulan, why don't you go into the room to check on Yun'er? You two are worried about each other." Mulan responded and rushed into Zhao Yun'er's room. As soon as she entered the room, she saw Zhao Yun'er sitting on the bed. Her face was pale and her arm was still bandaged. Mulan hurried over and asked, "Yun'er, how are you? Where are you hurt?" "Sister Mulan, I'm fine. Don't worry about me." Zhao Yun'er smiled and comforted her. "How about you? How are you? Did you encounter any danger?" "How could I encounter any danger? No matter how powerful the beasts on the mountain are, they are not as scary as humans. The two men who captured you looked very fierce. It was obvious that they were up to no good. You were taken away by these people, how can I not be worried?" Mulan let out a long sigh, worry written all over her face. "Alright, aren't I back now? Sometimes you can't avoid bad luck, but if you're lucky you can always escape danger." "That's right, Yun'er. You're a good person. You'll be fine." The two of them chatted for a while. Seeing that it was getting late and that Mulan had to prepare dinner, they went back. Mulan sent Zhao Yun'er's share of the mushrooms and game that they brought back from the mountain. The mushrooms could be made into soup at night. It would definitely be very delicious. As for the wild rabbit, it would taste very good regardless of whether it was roasted or braised. In the evening, Daodu and Zhao Tianfu came back from playing crazily outside. Usually the two children had never played so late. If it weren't for the fact that something happened to Zhao Yun'er today and the adults' attention was not on the children, the two children would definitely be anxious to come back so late. As soon as he saw Daodu and Zhao Tianfu come back, Liang Jinxiao hurriedly asked, "Oh, why did the two of you come back so late? It's getting dark. It's dangerous outside. Don't play so late next time. Come back earlier, okay?" Yes, Grandma, we know. Uncle and I played with snails today. Look, we got a lot of snails." Chapter 2076. There were a lot of these screws in the irrigation ditches of the paddy fields this season, and they could be fished up at will. However, the villagers didn't eat them, as they felt that the meat inside was too fishy and there wasn't much oil. Of course, the most important thing was that the shell of the snail was so hard that it would take a lot of effort to eat the meat inside. Rather than eating these things, it was more practical to eat wild vegetables. Liang Jinxiao said gently to Daodu, "Daodu, next time don't bring these things back with your uncle. Screws don't taste good." Daodu frowned and said to Liang Jinxiao in a soft voice, "Grandma, but mother said that these things are delicious, so Daodu and uncle brought them back." "Is that so?" Liang Jinxiao was a little confused. If it was Zhao Yun'er who said it, then it might really be edible. Many things that others thought were inedible could become delicious when Zhao Yun'er made them. Perhaps this time was no exception. "Okay then, Grandma will keep the snails and wait for your mother to cook them later." "Aha!" A bright smile appeared on Daodu's little face. Liang Jinxiao saw that Daodu's body and face were covered in mud, so she hurriedly said, "Grandma will get some water for you to wash your hands and wipe your face first. Look at the two of you now, both of you are covered in dirt and dirty. It's better to clean up. We'll have to cook in a while and get ready to eat." "Eh." Daodu responded obediently. At this moment Yili walked out of the house and saw Daodu. Daodu ran over excitedly as soon as he saw Yili. "Handsome uncle, why are you here?" Mu Lianfeng lowered his head to look at the adorable little bun in front of him. His lips curled into a warm smile as he asked Lil P, "That's right. Am I not welcome?" "Of course you're welcome, handsome uncle. Where have you been all this time? Daodu hasn't seen you in a long time," Daodu said in a soft voice. Daodu admired Yili a lot and looked at Yili with eyes that shone like stars. Yili felt a soft spot in his heart being touched. Facing such a soft and cute little bun, Yili really had no resistance. "I was away for a while because of some matters, but I'm back now." "That's great, Daodu can play with you, handsome uncle." Daodu excitedly held Yili's hand. When he's back, Daodu's father's Daodu was his biological son, so he naturally wanted Daodu to be closer to him and not Yili. As a man, Mu Lianfeng had a sense of vigilance and intuition when facing Yili. Today Yili saved Zhao Yun'er, so he knew that this man was definitely interested in Zhao Yun'er. His Yun'er belonged to him alone, so he naturally didn't want to touch another man. However, Yili did save Zhao Yun'er. If it weren't for him, who knew what would have happened to Zhao Yun'er today? As a rational person, he knew what he should do. Mu Lianfeng walked up to Yili and said to Yili, "Yun'er already told me what happened. Thank you for saving Yun'er today. I can give you any reward you want as a way to repay your kindness today. If you need anything in the future, don't hesitate to ask. I'll definitely help you wherever I can." Chapter 2077. How could Yili not know that Mu Lianfeng was trying to distance himself from him by saying this? He was trying to make Zhao Yun'er distance herself from him as well, making them seem estranged. And he hated seeing this kind of situation the most. When he saved Zhao Yun'er, he never cared about gains and losses or rewards. His heart was filled with Zhao Yun'er. Even if he had to give up his life for Zhao Yun'er, he would not have any complaints. Right now he just happened to save Zhao Yun'er, so he naturally did not ask for anything in return. Yili spoke a lot, so Mu Lianfeng became more vigilant. He hoped that Yili would open his mouth and state some conditions so that he could satisfy him. Now that he did not mention any conditions, it would only make him feel even more guilty. This young master. "If you don't ask for anything, Yun'er and I will feel guilty in our hearts. Do you really not want anything?" Mu Lianfeng was silent for a moment before he asked with some hesitation. "Yun'er and I are friends. Do you think that when friends help each other we would care about gains and losses?" Yili smiled and asked in return. His smile was very calm. Mu Lianfeng was slightly startled when he saw this. Yili continued, "I know that the person Yun'er likes is you. You can rest assured that I am not a vile person. I will not do those dirty things. Yun'er and I are friends. You don't have to be on guard against me." Mu Lianfeng looked into Yili's eyes. His eyes were clear and people could not help but believe what he said. If it was really as Yili said, then he was measuring the heart of a gentleman with the yardstick of a vile person. "Since Sir is so calm, you are Yun'er's friend. In the future you will also be my friend." Mu Lianfeng smiled slightly. His smile was like a breeze. The two men were originally in a hostile state, but at this moment they looked at each other and smiled. Mu Lianfeng felt that he should trust the relationship between him and Zhao Yun'er more. They loved each other so much. So what if Yili also loved Zhao Yun'er? Could it be that he was afraid of them being together? If he maintained this kind of suspicion and distrust, it could only mean that he was not loyal enough to his love with Zhao Yun'er. Father, Dowdu is so hungry. Where's Mother? I caught a lot of snails, so I'll let Mother cook some for Dowdu. Dowdu tugged on Mu Lianfeng's little hand with an expectant look on his face. Your mother is not feeling well and is resting in the house. She might not be able to cook tonight. Is Mother injured? Dowdu's small face was also dyed with a touch of worry. Mu Lianfeng hurriedly comforted him. It's not a big deal. Dowdu, you don't have to worry too much. Just as Dowdu wanted to go to Zhao Yun'er's room to check on Zhao Yun'er had already walked out. Mother, Dowdu immediately ran to Zhao Yun'er's side. Yun'er, why didn't you rest properly? Why did you run out of bed? Mu Lianfeng's face was tinged with worry. I'm fine. Zhao Yun'er replied with a smile. Her body only had a few open wounds and some blood, but those were external injuries and were not very serious. After the medicine on her body was cured, she felt indescribably comfortable. After resting for a while, she felt much more comfortable. Thinking about the wild rabbit and mushrooms that Mulan had sent over, Liang Jinxiao definitely wouldn't cook them. Yili was staying for dinner, so he had to bring out some food to entertain them. He couldn't appear too shabby. Just now, she vaguely heard that Dowdu had brought back some snails. This was something that Liang Jinxiao probably wouldn't cook, so she had to come out. Chapter 2078. Liang Jinxiao could help out. She was only responsible for cooking. Even if you have nothing to do, you still have to rest. We'll take care of the household matters. You have to close your eyes and rest for the next 2 days. My body isn't that delicate. Zhao Yun'er pursed her lips. Now I want to come out and cook dinner for you guys. I'm afraid that you guys won't be used to my mother's cooking. Since we have guests today, we naturally have to treat them well. Thinking back to when she was a police officer, she had to carry out missions with a seriously ill body. Moreover, they were all strenuous physical exercises. Unlike now, it was just cooking. It didn't take much effort at all. Although Mu Lianfeng was worried about Zhao Yun'er, he knew Zhao Yun'er's personality. No one could stop her once she decided on something. He could only go along with her wishes. Yun'er will help you out. Don't tire yourself out, Mu Lianfeng said with concern and heartache. Zhao Yun'er nodded. I didn't plan on doing it alone. Of course, everyone has to work together. It's getting late. We have to cook early so that we can rest early after eating. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er was so polite, Yili felt a little embarrassed. Yun'er, actually, you can just cook something casually. I'm not picky. Prince Shizhi is right. You're injured, so you should rest well in the house. Don't come out to work. Alright, don't try to persuade me anymore. It's just a meal. Don't waste any more time. After Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, she directed Mu Lianfeng to skin the rabbit. Then she directed Zhao Wenhua to wash the snails. Yili quickly helped. He went to Zhao Wenhua's side and copied Zhao Wenhua's actions. He used a brush to wash the snails. Meanwhile, Zhao Yun'er went into the house to prepare dinner. After a while, Mu Lianfeng finished processing the rabbit and brought it to the kitchen to help Zhao Yun'er chop it into pieces. This way it would be easier to process it. Zhao Yunlong had also washed the snails clean, but there was still a fishy smell when he smelled it carefully. Zhao Wenhua was really curious about how this thing was made to taste so delicious. Wouldn't the fishy smell make it hard to eat? Meanwhile, Zhao Yun'er was busy in the kitchen. In this big pot of rabbit meat, Zhao Yun'er made a rabbit meat with wine flavor. It had a spicy and fragrant flavor. It was absolutely delicious. Of course, it was the easiest to drink with wine. The men at home would definitely like it. As for snails, the reason why the ancient people didn't like them was because the way they cooked them was wrong. The ancient people were reluctant to use oil and water, and they didn't use much seasoning when cooking. Therefore, when they stir-fried snails, they would only boil them in clear water. At most, they would add some salt. Naturally, the cooked snails were difficult to swallow. Zhao Yun'er poured a lot of oil into the pot. Then she added scallions, ginger, garlic, and dried chili. The ginger and garlic could remove the fishy smell and cover the smell of the snails. After stir-frying with dried chili, it would be very spicy. Of course, it would only taste better when it was spicy. Zhao Yun'er added some salt, soy sauce, and vinegar. Then she poured a few spoonfuls of yellow wine. Yellow wine was also used to remove the fishy smell. Generally, people like to add some when cooking meat with a strong fishy smell. With the addition of ginger and garlic, the original fishy smell was even more removed. Instead, a fragrance emerged. Zhao Yun'er asked Liang Jinxiao to make the fire the hottest. After stir-frying in the pot, a strange fragrance emerged. Chapter 2079. Especially the aroma of the stir-fried ginger and garlic, mixed with the dried chili, She knew it was sour and refreshing before she even tasted it. Looking at the snails in the pot, Liang Jinxiao couldn't help but swallow her saliva, wanting to taste it as soon as possible. Thinking about it, Zhao Yun'er's culinary skills were really amazing. Clearly, the food that others didn't eat could become a delicacy in her hands. Fortunately, the other people in the village didn't know how to make it. Otherwise, if they brought back some screws one by one, it would be difficult for their family to make more food. Yun-er, it smells so good. How do you know that this thing can be eaten? Liang Jinxiao asked curiously. Mother, I know a lot of things that can be eaten, but you don't eat them. Ah, that's true. Zhao Yun-er curled the corners of her mouth. When there are more ingredients in the future, I'll take you to slowly recognize them. When the time comes, there will be a lot of delicious food that I can teach you to slowly cook. Liang Jinxiao hurriedly nodded in agreement. All right, then Mother will follow you and learn well. If Mother's culinary skills can be as good as yours, the other people in our family naturally won't mind, and they won't be nagging you to come over to cook every day. Just like you today, if Mother can cook these things, you can rest well in the house. You don't have to get up and waste time and energy cooking. Zhao Yun'er smiled slightly and replied, Mother, this isn't too tiring work. It's just cooking. It's just cooking. Sigh, that's true. Mother's heart aches when she sees you working even though you're injured. Okay, Mother, let's not talk about this. The food is almost ready. Everyone hurry up and eat. Liang Jinxiao quickly responded, Okay. It's getting dark. Everyone must be hungry. As Liang Jinxiao spoke, before Zhao Yun'er could do anything, she had already put the snails in the pot on a plate. There was a lot of fried snails, so it filled a large plate. Looking at the hard shell, Liang Jinxiao took it into her mouth and bit it. Her teeth were completely useless compared to the snail shell. She couldn't bite it at all. Liang Jinxiao was a little anxious. I don't know what to do with this bite. I think the soup tastes good. It's spicy and fragrant, but we can't just lick the shell and eat it, right? Zhao Yun'er was amused by the way Liang Jinxiao ate the snails. No wonder people in the countryside didn't eat snails. It was because the way they ate them was wrong. At the rate Liang Jinxiao was chewing, he probably wouldn't be able to eat the snail meat even if he crushed his teeth. Zhao Yun'er smiled and stopped Liang Jinxiao. Then she demonstrated to Liang Jinxiao, Mother, you can't eat it like this. Then how do you eat it? Zhao Yun'er took out a tooth, then gently poked the end of the toothpick into the snail meat. Then with a flick, the snail meat was picked out. Mother, open your mouth. Zhao Yun'er put the snail meat in front of Liang Jinxiao's mouth. Liang Jinxiao cooperated and opened her mouth. When she ate the snail meat, a strange delicious taste filled her entire mouth. Liang Jinxiao didn't expect Zhao Yun'er to take the snail meat out so easily. Yun'er, your method is too good. I'm too stupid. I don't know how to think of other methods. I only know how to bite it. I probably can't eat the meat even if my teeth are crushed. Mother, there's a saying that pregnancy makes a woman stupid for 3 years. It's not unreasonable. Zhao Yun'er joked. You're actually talking about your mother. I'm just telling the truth. Chapter 2080. After Liang Jinxiao tasted the snails, he imitated Zhao Yun'er. He picked up a toothpick and picked out a piece of snail meat and put it in his mouth to chew. As he ate, he muttered, This fragrant and spicy taste is the best to go with wine. Your fourth uncle and your second cousin brother helped us a lot today. If it weren't for the fact that it's too late and something happened, it would be good to invite your fourth uncle and your second cousin brother over for some wine. Zhao Yun'er said, Mother, although it's a little late now, I reckon that fourth uncle and second cousin brother have just eaten. It's good to send some over for them to try and satisfy their cravings. In addition to stir-frying so many snails, we also have a lot of rabbit meat. This fungus soup can also be sent over for them to try. Zhao Yun'er pointed at the food on the stove, especially the rabbit meat and snails. If they couldn't finish them at night, they wouldn't be fresh until tomorrow. Naturally, the taste would be worse. Therefore, they should take some time to send it over at night. Even if they had already eaten, it wouldn't prevent them from eating it as a midnight snack. The main thing was that these things didn't fill their stomachs at all. They wouldn't feel bloated even if they ate it. That's good too. Tianan will send it over. Don't worry about this. Don't go, your body can't take it. Liang Jinxiao exhorted. He was afraid that Zhao Yun'er would move again, so he went over personally. Zhao Yun'er nodded. Okay, Mother. Let's pack some and send some over to fourth uncle and second cousin brother in the next 2 days. Okay. Zhao Yun'er found a lunch box. Liang Jinxiao wasn't stingy and filled a big bowl for each of them. They would definitely be able to have a good meal when they went back. Liang Jinxiao also specially instructed Zhao Tianan to use toothpicks to pick out the snails so that Zhao Wentao and Zhao Qianhu wouldn't know how to eat them. Meanwhile, Zhao Yun'er and her family were preparing for dinner. They had been delayed for a long time today, so the family's stomachs were already growling from hunger. When they saw the dishes on the table, they immediately gathered around. To entertain Yi Li, Zhao Yun'er stir-fried some rabbit meat, vegetables, and vegetarian dishes in addition to snails. There were a lot of vegetables at home. Zhao Yun'er was not stingy and made a lot of them. Thus there was a table full of dishes. Seeing this kind of hospitality, Yi Li was a little embarrassed. The food is too sumptuous. It makes it seem like I'm here to freeload. Benefactor, don't stand on ceremony. Just eat. There are only a few more dishes than usual today. Our family's food is always sumptuous, Zhao Wenhua greeted. Yi Li called for everyone to eat together. Otherwise he would be too embarrassed to eat alone. Fortunately, Zhao Yun'er and her family were very open during the meal and did not have any reservations at all. Seeing that the atmosphere at the dining table was good and the family was very warm together, even Yi Li's mood improved a lot. He only stayed in Zhao Yun'er's house for 2 hours, but he felt that he liked the atmosphere of Zhao Yun'er's house very much. How nice it would be if this was his home. In this way he could also enjoy living such a life with Zhao Yun'er and her family. Unfortunately he was just a passerby. It was impossible for him to stay here for a long time. Now he should cherish every second that he could stay here. After a while, Zhao Tianan finished delivering the food and sat down to eat. Zhao Wentao and Zhao Qianhu had already eaten the snails sent by Zhao Yun'er after receiving them. Chapter 2081. The food that Zhao Yun'er sent over could at most be added to the meal. There were many people in the family and each person could eat a mouthful and it was almost finished. Zhao Wentao brought the rabbit meat and snails back to the house, and the children immediately surrounded him. After a while they finished the food in their bowls. After eating, they were still very unsatisfied and discussed the delicious food that Zhao Yun'er's family made. Zhao Wentao was both happy and helpless. In terms of food, there was no family in the whole village that could compare to Zhao Yun'er's family. Now the food that Zhao Yun'er sent over was just to satisfy their cravings. For them it was already good enough. They couldn't expect Zhao Yun'er to send too much. After all, Zhao Yun'er's family also had to eat. However, the children were gluttonous. After eating a little they looked forward to eating more. Zhao Wentao was a little helpless, so he could only coax the children to cook for them later. In the end, it was their family's conditions that were not good. If their conditions were slightly better they could eat more meat. Life was fought for by oneself. Only by working hard could one let one's children live a good life. On Zhao Qianhu's side, he was hesitating whether to call his parents, sister-in-law, and nephew to eat together. But there was only so much food in the bowl. If he took it out and shared it with everyone, it was estimated that they wouldn't be able to eat much. When there were more people, the amount that was evenly distributed to each person would naturally be less. In addition, his nephew was a little ancestor. Basically, whatever delicious food there was in the family would be eaten by him alone. So this time was definitely no exception. If Zhao Yangyang ate all of it, the others could forget about it. In the past, Zhao Yangyang was his nephew. As his second uncle, he always thought of Zhao Yangyang when there was something good. However, now that he had a wife, he began to have selfish thoughts. Compared to his wife, everyone else was absolutely incomparable. If there was something good, he should give it to his wife to eat. Zhao Yun'er only sent these few. These good things should be left for his wife to try and let his wife eat some good things. When Zhao Qianhu saw Jinju's thin body, he felt distressed. He knew that Jinju's life in her family was not good. Now that she had married him as a husband, he should let his wife live a good life, instead of letting Jinju suffer like before. But he didn't have much ability, and his family's conditions were just like that. If it weren't for the leftovers from the banquet, they probably wouldn't have been able to eat anything good. After a few days, Jinju would have to live a simple life with him. He couldn't bear to see his wife suffer, so he gave Jinju as much as he could. Wife, younger sister Yun'er asked someone to send some delicious food over. It's still warm. Come eat it while it's hot. Zhao Qianhu carried a bowl into the house and called Jinju over to eat. Both of them had just finished bathing. At this moment, Jinju sat on the bed and began to tidy up her clothes. There was an oil lamp on the table at the head of the bed. Jinju held a needle and thread in front of the oil lamp and mended. Zhao Qianhu's clothes were torn in some places, but Zhao Qianhu didn't take the clothes to Feng Xianxia to mend. The holes in the clothes didn't look good. Now that she had nothing to do, Jinju helped to mend the clothes while tidying them up. When Zhao Qianhu entered the house and saw this scene, his heart warmed. It felt good to have a wife. His wife was so considerate. Otherwise, when his clothes were torn, he would just leave them casually. He would be too lazy to give them to his mother to mend. Chapter 2082. Zhao Qianhu had already taken a step forward and walked in front of Jianghu. He said softly to Jianghu, You can work later. Eat the food first. It won't taste good if it gets cold." Jianghu glanced at the food in Zhao Qianhu's bowl. There was meat and snails. She knew that meat was edible, but she didn't expect that snails could be eaten as well. Moreover, it looked good. Smelling the aroma in the bowl, it was very fragrant, making people want to take a bite and try it. Jianghu had lived in her maternal family for so many years, but she had never smelled such fragrant food. Although she wanted to eat it, Jianghu still restrained herself and asked Zhao Qianhu, "Husband, am I the only one eating? Do you want to tell mother? And sister-in-law?" Now they hadn't separated from the family. Since they hadn't separated, they couldn't eat alone. According to the rules, if there was something to eat, it should be shared with the family. Now that Zhao Qianhu brought it into the house for her to eat alone, Jianghu felt a little apologetic. Zhao Qianhu smiled, There's only so much. If everyone eats, it won't be enough to share. You can eat more if you eat alone." Jianghu frowned and hesitated, but it's not good for me to go alone, right? If they know that I'm eating alone, they won't be happy." Seeing Jianghu's worry, Zhao Qianhu hurriedly comforted her. "It's okay, Zhu. There's no such thing as eating alone in our family. Sister-in-law brings a lot of delicious food back from her maternal family every time, and I don't see her sharing it with others. Basically, she and Yang eat it. Sister Yun gave us these food because I helped third uncle and third aunt work. These are considered as rewards, so naturally they're mine. I can decide who to give them to. Wife, now I only want to give them to you." Jianghu thought about it and felt that Zhao Qianhu's words were reasonable. Although they hadn't separated from the family, they weren't like other families who counted everything together. Sometimes, some things had to be calculated separately. Seeing Jianghu's hesitation, Zhao Qianhu urged her again, Eat. It's okay. Even if something happens, I'll take responsibility. I'm the one who let you eat. If you continue to hesitate, you'll really die." As Zhao Qianhu spoke, he picked up the chopsticks, picked up the rabbit meat and brought it to Jianghu's mouth. Open your mouth and eat." Only then did Jianghu open her mouth in embarrassment and accept the rabbit meat that Zhao Qianhu had picked up. The rabbit meat tasted very good. In addition to being very fragrant, there was also a spicy taste, which made it very refreshing to eat. This was the first time she had eaten something so delicious. "What kind of meat is this?" Jianghu asked curiously. It's rabbit meat." Jianghu nodded. Usually their family couldn't even eat pork, let alone these wild animals. Most hunters would send the game they caught to the town's restaurant to sell for money. Ordinary people couldn't afford it. Now that she ate this rabbit meat, the taste was really extraordinary. It was so delicious that she wanted to continue eating. Is it delicious?" Zhao Qianhu asked softly. "It's delicious." Jianghu replied bitterly. "Come eat more if it's delicious." As Zhao Qianhu spoke, he picked up another piece and brought it to Jin Xiao's mouth. "Husband, you eat too. Don't let me eat alone." "It's okay. I'm not hungry." You eat." Chapter 2083. When Jianghu said this, Zhao Qianhu felt embarrassed. "Okay, wife, I'll eat too. But you should eat more. I'm a man, so I don't need to eat too much good food." Jianghu smiled. "Okay, I'll eat more. Anyway, you have to try it." A bowl of rabbit meat and snails was eaten by the two of them in a short while. After eating, the two of them were very unsatisfied and wanted to eat more. Especially the snails, they had never tasted something with such a strange taste. "Wife, when I work hard to earn money in the future, I'll buy a lot of delicious food for you to eat. I definitely won't let you suffer with me," Zhao Qianhu said affectionately. If he had money, he could eat meat often if he wanted to. Unlike now, eating a meal felt like a luxury. A blissful smile appeared on Jianghu's face. "Husband, as long as I'm with you, everything else is secondary. No, I'm a man, so I'll definitely take you to live a good life. Wife, believe me, for you I'll work harder." Jianghu nodded heavily and said, "Okay, I believe you." The happiest thing for a woman was to find a reliable man. Only then would she have someone to rely on for the rest of her life. And she seemed to be very lucky to find a man like Zhao Qianhu. In comparison, old Zhao's family's economic conditions were not so bad. At least they were better off than their Jin family. Even if they had to stay in this state, Jianghu was satisfied. In this life, she only hoped to be able to give birth to children for Zhao Qianhu and live a good life as a wife. After the two of them finished eating, they wiped their hands and mouths. Jianghu wanted to continue mending the clothes, but Zhao Qianhu snatched it away. Wife, let's mend the clothes tomorrow. It's a bit late. Let's go to sleep first, okay? Jianghu looked up and saw the ambiguous smile on Zhao Qianhu's face. She immediately blushed. It wasn't as if she didn't know what this fellow meant by sleep. Wasn't it just that he wanted to do that with her? Jianghu shyly snatched the clothes from Zhao Qianhu's hands. Then she said to Zhao Qianhu, "There's still half of it left. You have to at least finish it. You can't give up halfway. That's not good." After saying that, Jianghu lowered her head and began to sew the clothes. Her movements were very slow, and Zhao Qianhu could only wait at the side. However, the process of waiting made them very anxious, so much so that even Zhao Qianhu was a little impatient. "Wife, hurry up and sew. It's already very late. We have to go to bed early." Zhao Qianhu couldn't hold back his temper and hurriedly urged her. Looking at Zhao Qianhu's impatient look, Jianghu shyly lowered her head and sewed unhurriedly. She weakly replied, "Slow work produces fine work. If you sew quickly, you won't be able to sew the clothes well. There's no need to rush to sleep." Zhao Qianhu resentfully responded. He felt that the thing below was about to be unable to hold it in. "Wife, then I'll go to bed first. Hurry up." "I'll wait for you," Zhao Qianhu said as he quickly got up. Then he lay on the bed and began to take off his clothes. Then he took off all his clothes except for his underwear. Jianghu didn't dare to look around casually. She didn't expect Zhao Qianhu to be so shameless in front of her. Chapter 2084. Wifey, why are you still not done after sewing for so long? If you don't stop, I'm going to die from holding it in. Zhao Qianhu complained silently. Jianghu glanced at Zhao Qianhu and saw that Zhao Qianhu's face was full of grievances. Were all men like this? They were too perverted. Jianghu felt a little uncomfortable under Zhao Qianhu's scorching gaze. She replied weakly, Okay, it's done." After picking up the last needle and thread, Jianghu bit off the excess thread. She then walked to the bed, blew out the candle flame and got on the bed. As soon as he saw Jianghu get on the bed, Zhao Qianhu couldn't wait to press on top of her. Jianghu whispered, "Husband, don't." Zhao Qianhu was in a panic at this time. How could he stop what he was doing? "Jur. I want." He didn't know the taste of women before. Now that he had tasted it, how could he not continue to taste it? This thing was like smoking opium. It was addictive. Especially when they just got married, it was the most passionate time. If it was the night before, Jianghu would probably indulge herself. But when she thought of Zhao Xinghui's words today, Jianghu felt a little uncomfortable. If she screamed again tonight, she would definitely be called a slut. So when Zhao Qianhu touched her, Jianghu hurriedly stopped him and said weakly, "Qianhu, don't." "Why not?" "We made too much noise last night. People saw us. I'm embarrassed, so Qianhu, why don't we stop tonight?" Hearing Jianghu's words, Zhao Qianhu's brows knitted together. Now that his desire was provoked, if he didn't relieve it at this time, wouldn't he die of discomfort? He pushed the hard thing below against Jianghu's lower abdomen and said, "Ju I want to listen to you, but it doesn't seem to agree. My good Ju it's very uncomfortable. Can you help it?" Jianghu's face burned even more. "I'm afraid that someone might hear us." Zhao Qianhu hurriedly comforted her. "Ju it's okay. If we lower our voices tonight, we won't be able to hear. My mother lives on one side of our house and my second uncle lives on the other. Even if my parents heard it, they wouldn't scold us. After all, they still want to have a grandchild soon. As for my second uncle, he is now lying in bed half dead, and the doctor said that his condition is very dangerous. There was no way he would have woken up at this time. I'm sure he won't hear us if we keep our voices down. As for the others, they won't be able to hear us as long as we don't make too much noise." Zhao Qianhu consoled Jianghu for a while before she finally nodded in agreement. Then, "Hubby, we must make a big commotion." Zhao Qianhu promised, "Of course, wife. Don't worry, I'll be careful and be gentle with you." Only then did Jianghu nod in agreement. She was the same as Zhao Qianhu. After all, they were both very young. After having a taste of it yesterday, her body couldn't take it anymore. She couldn't wait to do it. Even if the two of them restrained themselves, they still made some noise. While eating, Zhao Wenshui, who was in the next room, had woken up. Chapter 2085. Zhao Wenshui felt like a cripple. He was so pitiful, but no one cared about him. When he wanted to drink water, no one would bring him water, let alone take care of him. Now, when he thought about how Li Chuiying was at home, he could be an ancestor and scold Li Chuiying every day. It was so satisfying. Even when he was sick and injured, Li Chuanying could still take care of him very well. Unfortunately, Li Chuanying had returned to her parents' home, and the two of them were divorced. It was unrealistic to count on Li Chuanying. It was only at this moment that he regretted his decision to divorce Li Chuanying out of the blue. Even if Li Chuanying wanted to divorce, he would let her leave after Li Chuanying finished serving him. Zhao Wenxue, who was lying in bed, was very worried about his physical condition. He had suffered such a serious injury and felt that his life was in danger. If he didn't handle it well, he might die. He was still so young. He didn't want to die. There were still many days that he hadn't enjoyed. No one would take care of him. Not to mention the injuries on his body. Eating, drinking, and urinating every day were big problems. It was impossible to not have someone to take care of him. If he lay in bed for a few more days, he would definitely become a cripple. Now, Zhao Wenxue was looking forward to marrying a wife. As long as it was a woman, it would be good to take good care of him. Just as he was thinking in a daze, he heard movements in the room next door. The sound of ecstasy made him feel even more uncomfortable. Zhao Wenxue was already injured, but his body was reacting. He was suffering. However, the movements in the room next door took more than an hour to quiet down. Zhao Wenxue endured for more than an hour. In the end, he unknowingly fell asleep and no longer had any reaction. The next day, Zhao Yuner and her family woke up early. After resting for a whole night, Zhao Yuner's spirit had recovered a lot, and she was as spirited as usual. Early in the morning, Yili went out for a stroll. Shuilan village was against the mountains. Thinking that it was still early, he wanted to walk around and take a look. He rarely saw such scenery. Zhao Yuner was busy preparing breakfast. With Liang Jinxiao around, she did not have to do much. Most of the work was done by Liang Jinxiao. For breakfast, she made some millet pumpkin porridge and some side dishes. He also baked a few pancakes. Although they weren't very sumptuous, they tasted pretty good. While Zhao Yuner was busy preparing breakfast, Yili also rushed back from outside. As soon as he walked into Zhao Yuner's house, he smelled the aroma of food coming from the kitchen. Yili sniffed and was attracted by the aroma. What he liked the most was the peaceful and comfortable life in Zhao Yuner's home. Although the family was not very rich, they didn't eat exotic delicacies, and they didn't live in a luxurious house. But it gave people an indescribable feeling. This kind of peaceful life made people's hearts calm down. If they slowed down, life seemed to become much better. Benefactor, breakfast is ready. Come and eat quickly. Liang Jinxiao put the food on the table and called Yili over. Okay. Yili smiled. She quickened her pace and walked to the table. After breakfast, Yili thought that it was about time for him to leave. He would feel embarrassed if he stayed in Zhao Yuner's house for too long. He was thin-skinned and did not want to wait for Zhao Yuner's family to kick him out. Chapter 2086. When Yili proposed to leave, Zhao Yuner was slightly stunned. Because they knew Yili's situation, they knew that Yili was homeless. If she left their home, where could Yili settle down? Zhao Yuner suddenly remembered that Yili was very down and out at that time. He didn't even have enough food to eat, let alone money to live in a restaurant. Now Yili came back again, but she still didn't know Yili's situation. If Yili was still poor and had difficulty surviving, it was better to let him stay in her home. At least he had a place to stay during this period. As for the future, she could think of a way slowly. It would get better. How about staying in my home for a while? Where are you going now? Are you going to Yang City? Zhao Yuner asked. Yili shook his head and said, I don't know, but if I'm going, I should go to Yang City. It's too troublesome for me to stay in your home. It's not good for me to be an outsider. Liang Jinxiao hurried to persuade him. Benefactor, what's wrong with that? There are many houses in my home. You can stay as you wish. It's not a problem. Zhao Yuner was afraid that Yili would have problems if he stayed alone. This guy must have suffered a lot during his escape. Now he could live a more peaceful life. It would be good for him to stay in her home. Although she didn't have anything good to treat him, she believed that Yili wouldn't mind the ordinary food. You don't have any relatives in Yang City now, so you don't have any plans. You shouldn't be in a hurry to leave. Why don't you stay in my home for a few more days so that we can get together? I didn't have time to talk to you yesterday. Now I haven't asked you why you suddenly came to save me and how you found me and knew that I had an accident. Did you follow me in advance? Yili hurriedly waved his hand. No, I didn't follow you. Was he that kind of person? If he secretly followed her, people would definitely think that he was a pervert who secretly followed a woman. Then why? Yili recounted what had happened that day. In fact, he was just strolling on the street when he saw an ox cart pass by him. He didn't know why, but when the ox cart passed by, his heart suddenly tightened, and there was a strange feeling in his heart. He then followed the ox cart for a few steps. Relying on his sensitive sense of smell, he smelled a familiar scent from the ox cart. And that smell belonged to Xianxia. However, he wasn't sure. After all, the smell was too faint. Sometimes he could smell it and sometimes he couldn't. He could only secretly follow the ox cart and observe the situation. He did not dare to act rashly. Then he realized that the man in gray was carrying a sack. It was obvious that the sack didn't contain goods but people. The sack was sealed so he couldn't see who was inside. As he continued to observe, he noticed that xuanhuan had brought a group of people over. Sensing that something was amiss, he rushed into the house. In the end, Xianxia was inside and he saved Xianxia along the way. After hearing Yi Li's words, Xianxia couldn't help but sigh. If the ox cart hadn't brushed past Yi Li, and if Yi Li hadn't smelled her scent, perhaps the situation would have been completely different. Her life would have been ruined. At this moment, Xianxia was indescribably grateful to Yi Li. Yi Li, thank you. Yun'er, you don't have to be so polite with me. I saved you willingly and I'm very happy to do so. Chapter 2087. Xianxia also believed that it was God's arrangement. If it wasn't for God, how could something so subtle happen? After all, the probability was too small. It wasn't easy to encounter it. However, Xianxia was grateful for God's arrangement. No matter who came to save her, at least they didn't let that terrible situation happen. After breakfast, Xiaoyun'er's family members who were busy went to work. Mu Lianfeng prepared to go back to the Shizi mansion. He wanted to ask Murong Shuang clearly and settle the score. Unfortunately, as Mu Lianfeng expected, Murong Shuang had already rushed back to the capital. He couldn't chase her to the capital, so he could only return to Shuilan village in disappointment. Xiaoyun'er didn't continue to pursue this matter. If Murong Shuang didn't receive any punishment and directly returned to the capital, she would definitely do her best to make this woman receive the punishment she deserved. Now that she was fine, it was Murong Shuang who was gang raped. This alone was enough for Murong Shuang to suffer. Mu Lianfeng didn't object to the addition of Yi Li to the family. When he thought about how he couldn't save Xiaoyun'er, it was his incompetence. Yi Li was his benefactor. If he chased Yi Li away now, it would seem that he wasn't a man and was too petty. Of course, the most important thing was that Mu Lianfeng believed in Xiaoyun'er. He believed in the feelings between the two of them. Xiaoyun'er definitely wouldn't abandon him for another man. Yi Li looked like a reliable person. Since he was a gentleman, he wouldn't steal someone's love and wouldn't do dirty things behind their backs. On the other side, in old Zhao's courtyard. Because Jianghu and Zhao Qianhu ate snails and rabbit meat last night, they took out the bowls and washed them. They were about to send them to Xiaoyun'er when Xinpan happened to see them. Xinpan understood that her second brother and second sister-in-law were eating alone in their room. Old Zhao's family wasn't well off to begin with, so they didn't have much delicious food. The invitations sent by Xiaoyun'er were all delicious. Since they were not separated, she should let her Yang eat some. However, Jianghu and Zhao Qianhu did not do so. Xinpan felt that this matter could be said to be light, but it could also be said to be serious. Now that he had eaten it once, there would be a second and third time in the future. What right did they have to secretly eat when they were having fun? Once Zhao Tianlong became a xuanhuan, he would have to take care of his younger brother and sister-in-law? Xinpan was too embarrassed to say it out loud, so she could only remain silent. In her heart, she was even more determined to separate. As long as they didn't live together in the future, whatever Zhao Qianhu and Jianghu ate had nothing to do with her family. When it was close to noon, Zhao Pinger's donkey stopped in old Zhao's yard. Xiaoxing would be sitting under the shade of a tree as usual, with her legs crossed and eating melon seeds, looking very leisurely. However, only Zhao Xinhui knew in her heart that her heart was too stuffy. She didn't know when this kind of life in old Zhao's house would come to an end. There wasn't much fun in a run-down place like the countryside. It was so stuffy. Most importantly, she couldn't spend her money. She couldn't eat the delicious food she wanted to eat. It wasn't as comfortable as when she was in Yang City. When she had nothing to do, she would go out shopping, buy delicious food, pick some clothes and jewelry she liked, and live a happy life every day. But now. Chapter 2088. Just as he was feeling bored to death, he saw Zhao Pinger's little donkey arrive in front of his courtyard. Then from a distance he heard Qin Yuan shouting excitedly, "Auntie, Auntie!" Zhao Xinhui looked in the direction of Xuanhuan and her heart skipped a beat. She knew that Xuanhuan must have come for something important. The only thing that could be considered important at the moment was the matter of the restaurant. Xuanhuan immediately came out of the house when she heard Xuanhuan's voice. This brat liked to seduce her daughter. If she didn't do something about it, who knew what would happen? When she saw Xuanhuan, Xuanhuan asked irritably, "Brat, what are you doing here this time?" Xuanhuan faced Xuanhuan, who had a cold expression on her face. Because of Zhao Xinhui, he smiled ingratiatingly and said, "Grandma, I'm here to look for Auntie." Xuanhuan replied irritably, "I know you're here for something. Tell me, what is it?" "Grandma, the restaurant I'm running is about to open, so I'm here to inform you and Auntie." Xuanhua's ugly expression finally eased when she heard Xuanhuan say that he was about to open a restaurant. "What? Your restaurant is open?" Xuanhuan hurriedly replied, "Yes, Grandma. I rented this restaurant a few days ago. I just finished cleaning it up a few days ago. I'm preparing to open it tomorrow. When it opens tomorrow, I want you to come with me. Everyone can join in the fun." Xuanhua's eyes lit up instantly. In the past, she looked down on Xuanhuan because Xuanhuan's family was too poor and he didn't have much ability. If Zhao Xinhui were to be with a man like him, she would definitely suffer in the future. However, things were different now. Xuanhuan really opened a restaurant. Everything else aside, it was definitely an amazing thing to be able to open a restaurant in Yang City. Unlike other businesses, a restaurant could earn a lot of money in a day. With a restaurant, there would be income every day. Over time, they could still make a fortune. Compared to the countryside, such conditions were still very rare. Her Hui'er was not the same as before. In the past, not only was she beautiful but she was also a virgin. Now that she was married and abandoned by her husband, everyone in the village knew about it. As the news spread, everyone knew about their family's scandal. In addition, Zhao Xinhui had a miscarriage. It would be harder than ascending to heaven for Zhao Xinhui to find a good family to marry. Now, Xuanhuan's conditions weren't bad. Most importantly, Xuanhuan really liked Zhao Xinhui and was completely devoted to her. If Zhao Xinhui and Xuanhuan were together, they might even be able to live a good life. "You rascal, you're not lying, are you? Are you telling the truth?" Xuanhuan asked with uncertainty. Xuanhuan quickly nodded and said, "Grandma, of course it's true. I can't lie about this kind of thing, right? You'll know when we go to the restaurant tomorrow." Tomorrow is the first day of opening, and it will definitely be very lively. I want to invite everyone to come and eat for free. Let's have some fun together. Chapter 2089. Xuanhuan smiled shyly. "That's right. I've been busy these past few days. Now that it's finally open, I can finally put down the huge rock in my heart. Your Ping-er's relatives and also her elders. Since we're opening a restaurant, we naturally have to invite all of you to join us for a meal. It's the first day of opening and it's a joyous occasion. Everyone feel free to eat. You can also have a taste of our restaurant's food." Feng Xianxia thought that since they were going to eat in a restaurant, there would definitely be fish and other dishes. In this way, wouldn't old Zhao's family be able to have a good meal with them? Who wouldn't be happy to hear such a free benefit? Especially for someone like her who liked to take advantage of others. She always felt that a pie had fallen from the sky and she had picked up a benefit. When others gave benefits to her, she had to cater to them on the surface and say a few words. Thus, Feng Xianxia began to praise Xuanhuan without restraint. "Niece-in-law, you're really a promising child. Back then when that last Ping-er married you, your family was poor. Now you've become rich so quickly. You've even opened a restaurant. It's definitely hard to find another restaurant like this within a radius of dozens of kilometers. My third brother and third sister-in-law really have good taste. They picked you at first glance. Now it's great that you're successful. More importantly, you're still thinking about us poor relatives even after you've become rich. You don't dislike us at all. This kind of character is really rare. You're really a good person." Xuanhuan felt a little smug after being praised by Feng Xianxia. After Feng Xianxia finished speaking, she even poked Xuanhuan. "Mother, look, Xuanhuan is such a good child." Xuanhuan was a snob. Since Xuanhuan opened a restaurant, Xuanhuan's expression naturally became much better compared to before. Hearing Feng Xianxia's words, she nodded and replied, "It's really not bad. Since you're so considerate, our family will go together tomorrow and make your restaurant lively." Xuanhuan answered happily. Seeing Xuanhuan's attitude, he was less prejudiced against him. He was most afraid that Xuanhuan would say that he was a toad lusting after a swan. Although he knew in his heart that compared to his previous conditions, he was indeed not worthy of Zhao Xinhui. Now he was working hard for Zhao Xinhui. He had also opened a restaurant. As long as he managed it well, he would be able to earn a lot of money. When the time came, he would be able to live a good life with Zhao Xinhui. Mother, don't let your niece and son-in-law just stand there. Quickly ask him to sit down. Feng Xianxia reminded from the side. Xuanhuan finally reacted and responded. Xuanhuan sat down next to Zhao Xinhui under the shade of the tree. Feng Xianxia immediately took a glass of water and handed it to Xuanhuan. Come on, are you thirsty now? Chapter 2090. Xuanhuan naturally knew that old Zhao's family's attitude towards him had changed drastically because he had opened a restaurant. If he had remained as useless as before, he might have received the supercilious looks from old Zhao's family. People were realistic. Only when you were rich and successful would others look up to you and chase after you. If you were poor, you would have to accept the supercilious looks from others. Because of this, Xuanhuan was even more determined to work hard and earn more money. Other than giving Zhao Xinhui a better life, he also wanted those who looked down on him to take him seriously, flatter him, and curry favor with him. Xuanhuan muttered, I underestimated you. I didn't expect you to really open a restaurant. Xuanhuan smiled. Grandma, I did all this for my aunt. Yes, I know, Xuanhuan replied. Zhao Xinhui moved closer to Xuanhuan, took the peeled melon seeds in her hand, and held them to Xuanhuan's lips. She said sweetly, Here, open your mouth. This is your reward. Xuanhuan happily opened his mouth and ate the melon seeds that Zhao Xinhui had peeled. Zhao Ping'er watched from the side and clenched her fists in anger. Her aunt was really too much. After all, she was Xuanhuan's daughter-in-law now. What was the big deal about Zhao Xinhui and Xuanhuan's intimate posture? Zhao Xinhui had not peeled the melon seeds with her hands, but with her mouth. When she spat them out, her saliva was stuck to her mouth. She had even fed Xuanhuan the dirty melon seeds. The more Zhao Ping'er thought about it, the angrier she became. Seriously? Zhao Ping'er muttered. Her resentful gaze landed on Zhao Xinhui. However, Zhao Xinhui did not look at her at all. She did not care about her and continued to flirt with Xuanhuan. Is it delicious? Zhao Xinhui asked sweetly. Regardless of how the melon seeds tasted, Zhao Xinhui was very happy to be able to taste Zhao Xinhui's saliva. Xuanhuan immediately nodded and replied, It's delicious. How can the peanuts peeled by my aunt not be delicious? Since you like it, I'll peel some more for you. Okay, Zhao Xinhui said. She continued to crack the melon seeds in her mouth and fed Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan looked a little embarrassed. She knocked on the ground gently. There are people in the courtyard. Be careful. Zhao Xinhui muttered, Mother, what's there to be careful of? What's there to be careful of? Don't get too close to the two of you. You're not together yet. What if other people see you? Xuanhuan was concerned about her reputation. She was worried about the consequences. Mother, you didn't agree to us being together before because Xuanhuan's family was poor. Now that he's rich, you won't still disagree, right? Zhao Xinhui questioned unhappily. She thought that Xuanhua's words meant that she did not approve of Xuanhuan. Xuanhuan explained, I didn't agree before. After all, his family background was too poor. You would suffer if you were to be with someone like him. I don't have any objections now, but if you two are together, you have to be legitimate. You should be clear about your relationship now. You have to deal with it properly. Otherwise, how can you be together? If other people see you together, they will gossip. Zhao Xinhui frowned. It turned out that Xuanhuan was still conflicted about this. Chapter 2091. This wasn't a difficult thing to do. They could just say that Zhao Ping'er had slept with that fool and was even pregnant with his child. This way, it would be perfectly justifiable for them to push Zhao Ping'er to Xuanhuan. This way, she would be able to be together with Xuanhuan. In the future, if others still criticized them, then there was nothing they could do. They just had to treat their words like farts and not care so much. Mother, don't worry. Xuanhuan and I will do it well. We won't let others gossip about us. Zhao Xinhui patted her chest and promised. Xuanhuan also hurriedly replied, Grandmother, if I get together with Auntie, I will definitely make reasonable arrangements. It's fine as long as you can promise. Once everything is arranged, you can be together. But for now, it's best to be careful. Only then did Zhao Xinhui and Xuanhuan reluctantly keep some distance. Xuanhuan planned to earn enough money to buy a big house in Yang City. Then he would hold a formal wedding and marry Zhao Xinhui. He would let others know that Zhao Xinhui was also the rightful wife of his prestigious family. Auntie, it doesn't matter if we're intimate for a while. As long as our hearts are together, it's fine. Xuanhuan looked at Zhao Xinhui and said affectionately. Zhao Xinhui nodded. At the same time she instructed Xuanhuan, now that the restaurant is open, go and talk to Zhao Pinger. I don't want her to make a fuss when we're together. Don't worry, Auntie. I'll talk to her when we get back today. Xuanhuan hurriedly agreed. Zhao Pinger was a little confused. She didn't know what Xuanhuan and Zhao Xinhui were whispering about. She had a feeling that they were betraying her. Zhao Pinger glared hatefully at Zhao Xinhui. Her sister-in-law was really incomparable when it came to seduction. She always knew how to make her lover fall head over heels in love with her and listen to everything she said. Now she and the Xuanhuan had finally made a name for themselves. She had accompanied the Xuanhuan through hard times and was about to live a prosperous life. Unfortunately, Zhao Xinhui had appeared again. She stood there alone. She was obviously Xuanhuan's wife, but she looked like an outsider. On the other hand, Xuanhuan and Zhao Xinzhong were together. The two of them were exchanging flirtatious glances, making them look like a couple. Since the arrival of Xuanhuan and the opening of the restaurant were good news, old Zhao's family members gathered together to talk about it. Even Zhao Baoshan asked a few questions casually. No matter what, Xuanhuan was the son-in-law of old Zhao's family. Xuanhuan had opened a restaurant. If he had the ability, old Zhao's family would benefit from it as well. When they went back to the village they could brag about it. If others heard about it they would definitely be envious of old Zhao's family. After chatting for a while, Xuanhuan ordered Zhao Pinger, go to your parents' place and tell them that we'll go to the restaurant in Yang City for dinner tomorrow. Of course, Zhao Yun'er's family would be involved in such an important matter. Xuanhuan didn't really care about Zhao Yun'er's family. Now that he had the ability, he should let Zhao Yun'er's family know that he couldn't let them look down on him. Back then when Zhao Yun'er's family was rich they looked down on him. Now that he had opened a restaurant he could hold his head high. He had to show off a little. The way to show off was to call Zhao Yun'er's family over for a meal and let them see how his newly opened restaurant was like. Zhao Pinger pouted and muttered, Big brother Yuan, am I going alone? What? Can't you handle such a small matter alone? Chapter 2092. Zhao Pinger's coquettishness was not only ineffective in front of Xuanhuan, but it also caused Xuanhuan to feel a wave of disgust in his heart. This woman was a little too disgusting. This kind of pretentious behavior was a little unbearable. A woman's coquettishness was only suitable for beautiful and good-looking women. For someone like Zhao Pinger with an ugly face, it would only make people feel disgusted and disgusted. Xuanhuan replied with some disdain, You still have to ask me to accompany you for such a small matter. Zhao Pinger, tell me what else can you do? Big brother Yuan, going to my parents' place is not a small matter. As my son-in-law, you should at least accompany me, right? Otherwise wouldn't it seem like we're not sincere? Zhao Pinger muttered. She did not dare to speak too harshly, afraid that Xuanhuan would be angry if he heard her. Xuanhuan frowned and glanced at Zhao Pinger. Then he said, We specially made a trip here. How is that not sincere? Big brother Yuan, don't you want to see my parents' reaction when they find out that you opened a restaurant? If they praise you, wouldn't it be better if you heard it with your own ears? Xuanhuan was silent for a while. How could he not be curious about Zhao Yun'er's family's reaction? He had been waiting for this day to come where he could hold his head high. It was not easy for him to wait for this day. It would be a pity if he missed out on Zhao Yun'er's family's reaction. Previously they did not allow him and Zhao Pinger to go over, most likely because they were poor. Now that they knew that he opened a restaurant, they might try to curry favor with him again. Thinking about it this way, Xuanhuan felt that he should indeed go over personally. Thus he got up reluctantly and said to Zhao Xinhui, Auntie, I'll leave for a while. I'll come over later. Zhao Xinhui responded unhappily. Xuanhuan smiled fawningly. Auntie, don't worry. I'll be back soon. Then hurry up. Don't dawdle. Okay. Seeing that Xuanhuan finally agreed to go with her to the third branch, Zhao Pinger felt a lot better. With a big smile on her face, she hurriedly moved closer to Xuanhuan. Then she reached out and tried to hold onto Xuanhuan's arm. Big brother Yuan. When he was 1 meter away from Zhao Pinger, Xuanhuan hurriedly dodged and shouted at Zhao Pinger, what do you want to do? Why are you so close to me? Zhao Pinger pouted and mumbled, Big brother Yuan? We are husband and wife. If you and Andy can get close, why can't I? Zhao Pinger, can you have some self-awareness? I have to buy you a mirror later so that you can take a good look at yourself and know what you look like. Big brother Yuan. No matter how ugly I look, I'm still your legal wife. I'm better than Andy. You treat Andy so well, but you don't treat me that well? Zhao Ping'er could not help but complain. The more she thought about how Qin Yuan and Zhao Xinhui were together, the angrier Zhao Ping'er became. Qin Yuan glared at Zhao Ping'er a little angrily. Zhao Ping'er, I can't be bothered to talk to you. If you don't know what's good for you, then don't blame me for being rude. In the face of Qin Yuan's warning, Zhao Ping'er could only shut her mouth resentfully. She lowered her head and followed Qin Yuan to the third branch's house. At this time Zhao Yun'er was in the courtyard, sitting under the shade of a tree. She was holding Tian Tian in her arms, and Liang Jinxiao was sitting beside her. The family was chatting together. Chapter 2093. This child had enough nutrition and did not look as thin as when she was born. Zhao Yun'er estimated that after a while, Tian Tian would grow up to be chubby, like a cute porcelain doll. Tian Tian, who was originally in her arms, suddenly made a fuss. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly held Tian Tian and asked softly, Tian Tian, do you want to poop or pee? Tian Tian whimpered a few times but Zhao Yun'er did not understand. However, Tian Tian soon let out a loud fart and then took out a pile of poop. The child's poop was pink and the smell was not strong, so it did not smell bad. Zhao Yun'er smiled and said, no wonder you're more noisy than usual. You want to poop? She held Tian Tian in her hand and let the baby poop for a while. Then Tian Tian whimpered twice, indicating that she was done. Zhao Yun'er then asked Liang Jinxiao to bring some paper over and wipe Tian Tian's butt. Because Tian Tian was a baby, her butt was very tender and could not accept that kind of sharp thing. The paper used to wipe Tian Tian's butt was soft and would not hurt the skin. Of course, only people with conditions like Zhao Yun'er could afford to use it. If it was in an ordinary family, such a small child would at most use a rag to wipe her poop, and then wash the rag and continue to use it. After all, the conditions were limited and they did not have so much money to waste on paper. In this village, generally very few people were willing to use straw paper to wipe their buttocks. They directly used some wooden sticks or leaves. Zhao Yun'er remembered that when she had just transmigrated, she was not used to using wooden sticks, and there was no straw paper. Later she pulled a few leaves to make do. The result of using leaves was that the chrysanthemum was very itchy and uncomfortable. Later, when the conditions were slightly better, she decisively bought straw paper to use at home. Just as she held Tian Tian back in her arms, Little Black followed the smell of Tian Tian's poop and bowed his head to eat it. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly pushed Little Black away and sternly reprimanded it. Little Black, you can't eat it. How many times have I told you? Although you're a dog, you can't eat shit. It's too dirty and the smell is too strong. If you eat it, we'll despise you to death. Little Hay glanced at the sweet papa and whimpered as if it understood Zhao Yun'er's words. It turned its head and stopped eating. Zhao Yun'er didn't know why dogs had an inexplicable attraction to Papa. Little Black's daily meals were not bad, but he was always thinking about Papa. Fearing that Little Hay would secretly eat Jin Xiao, Little Hay hurriedly took out some plant ashes and covered Sweet Sweet's pow. Then she cleaned up the pow. Outside the big yard, Liang Jinxiao had just turned back and sat down when she heard Little Black bark a few times and then run out of the yard. Seeing Xiaohei like this, Liang Jinxiao and Zhao Yun'er both thought that Xiaohei had rushed out and was reluctant to give up the poop that Liang Jinxiao had taken away, so they wanted to catch up and eat it. Hey Yun'er, no wonder people often say that dogs can't change their habit of eating shit. Even our Little Black is like this. Zhao Yun'er was very helpless. Yes, I really don't know why dogs don't like to eat this. Little Black will get dirty later. Don't let Daodu and Tianfu play with him. Yes, later tell the two children to stay away so that Little Black won't dirty the poop. Chapter 2094. These two people were Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan. It was no wonder that Little Black was barking so fiercely. Not only did Zhao Yun'er hate these two people, but Little Black was also a dog with intelligence. It knew that whatever Zhao Yun'er hated it would also hate. Therefore, when Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan came over, it immediately barked wildly to express its dissatisfaction. Zhao Yun'er said to Liang Jinxiao, Mother, Little Black isn't eating shit. It's big sister Ping'er and Qin Yuan who came over. Only then did Liang Jinxiao notice Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan. Seeing these two familiar figures, Liang Jinxiao's brows also knitted together. Now that she saw Zhao Ping'er, she felt annoyed. She also didn't know why Zhao Ping'er had specially come over this time. At this moment, Liang Jinxiao's right eye twitched. She was slightly startled and muttered, Great, this is great. Nothing good is going to happen again. Could it be that Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan came over to trouble them again? Qin Yuan and Zhao Ping'er were about to reach Zhao Yun'er's courtyard when they were stopped by Little Black. Little Black bared its fangs and looked like it could pounce at any time. Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan were so frightened that they didn't dare to go forward, afraid that they would be bitten by Little Black. Especially Zhao Ping'er, who had been bitten by Little Black before and knew the pain. At this moment, after Little Black barked a few times, Zhao Ping'er was so frightened that she directly hid behind Qin Yuan. Qin Yuan was also very frightened. He shrank behind Zhao Ping'er and even complained to Zhao Ping'er, "Woman, do you have any conscience at all? Seriously, you only know how to let me block in front. What if that dog bites me?" "Big brother Yuan, aren't I scared? So I couldn't help but hide behind you. I didn't do it on purpose." Stop quibbling. Zhao Ping'er, I've finally seen through you. How dare you treat me like this? Big brother Yuan, I really didn't do it on purpose. I was bitten by Little Black before and I'm very scared. What should we do now? Little Black is so fierce we definitely can't go over. If we go over we will be caught and bitten by Little Black. As Zhao Ping'er spoke, she was so scared that she took a few steps back. Qin Yuan secretly scolded Zhao Ping'er for being a good-for-nothing. Although he was also very scared, he came to Zhao Yun'er's house today for serious business. Therefore, when faced with the barking little He, Qin Yuan shouted towards the courtyard, "Mother, I'm here for business. Hurry up and let little He go." "That's right, Mother. Big brother Yuan and I are here for business. Little Black is blocking us and we can't come over. Hurry up and get rid of it. This damn dog is really too much. It catches and bites the whole family. It doesn't have any eyesight at all. To think that you guys fed it so much food." The corner of Zhao Yun'er's mouth twitched. Little Black's eyesight was clearly not bad. It knew how to chase away evil people when it saw them. "What are you guys here for?" Liang Jinxiao asked indifferently. "Mother, how are we going to talk if you let this damn dog block us? Hurry up and get rid of it so that we can talk." Zhao Ping'er grumbled. Liang Jinxiao thought about it. He was curious about what important matter Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan had to personally come over. He called out to Little Black, "Little Black, come back." Little Black was very intelligent. When he heard Liang Jinxiao's voice, he turned around to take a look. After wagging his tail, he obediently returned to the courtyard. Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan watched Little Black leave. Only then did they muster up the courage to go to the third branch's courtyard. "Ping'er girl, if there's anything, hurry up and say it," Liang Jinxiao urged. Chapter 2095. Liang Jinxiao was stunned. Only then did she know that Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan came over to talk about opening a restaurant. She was not very surprised when she heard about this matter. After all, she had already heard about it before. As for whether Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan opened a restaurant or not, that had nothing to do with her. She did not want to worry about this daughter of hers. Whether her life was good or bad, that had nothing to do with her. Therefore Liang Jinxiao only gave an indifferent reply. Zhao Ping'er continued to speak proudly, "Mother, Big brother Yuan's restaurant is opened in Yang City. The shop is not small. When it opens, there will definitely be a lot of money coming in. Relying on this restaurant, we will slowly become rich. In the future, we will become the wealthiest family in the village. Mother, you see, you used to despise Big brother Yuan's family for being poor. Now that Big brother Yuan has opened a restaurant, you can be considered to have struck it rich." Zhao Ping'er bragged about them opening a restaurant while secretly praising herself for having good eyesight to find such a good man like Qin Yuan. Seeing Zhao Ping'er's proud and boastful look, the corner of Zhao Yun'er's mouth could not help but twitch. Wasn't it just a restaurant? Those who did not know would think that they had done something big. If one opened a restaurant to show off in front of others, they might be envied. However, to Zhao Yun, opening a restaurant was not worth mentioning. With the gold, silver and jewelry bestowed by the Emperor Mu Lianfeng's assets, and the benefits that she could earn in the future, even if Zhao Ping'er opened 10 more restaurants, she would not be able to catch up to her. Yet this woman still showed off in front of her. When Liang Jinxiao heard that, she only gave an indifferent reply. "Father, mother and younger sister Yun, Big brother Yuan and I are opening the restaurant tomorrow. It's already very late. Grandfather, grandmother and a few uncles are all going over together. You all should also come over for a meal," Zhao Ping'er said proudly. She came over to invite them over for a meal, but in reality, it was more like she was showing off. After all, it was a joyous occasion for Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan. In addition, the rest of old Zhao's family would be going. If they did not go, it would seem a little overboard. Liang Jinxiao agreed, and he did not seem very happy, smiling as if it was a very normal thing. The reaction of Zhao Yun'er's family was completely out of Qin Yuan's information. To be more precise, it did not reach what Qin Yuan wanted. He had already opened a restaurant. How could Zhao Yun'er suddenly see such a powerful thing as a very ordinary thing? She didn't put it in her eyes and didn't treat him specially. Unlike in the Zhao clan, Xuanhuan, Zhao Baoshan, and Feng Xianxia were obviously much friendlier to him after learning that he had opened a restaurant. But she did not take him seriously at all. Now that he was successful, how could she treat him like this? Qin Yuan was still a little sad and unconvinced. He knocked his head lightly and said deliberately, "Mother, we were poor in the past. I know you look down on me. Now that Ping'er and I have opened a restaurant, when we come over again, don't act like you're hiding from relatives. You even sent a dog to stop us. You can't look down on us like this, right?" Liang Jinxiao was slightly stunned. Then he said, "You misunderstood. I never despised you for being poor. If I despised you now, I wouldn't have married Ping'er to you back then." Chapter 2096. How could Qin Yuan believe Liang Jinxiao's words? He was still certain that Liang Jinxiao looked down on him because he was too poor. It seemed that it was useless to open a restaurant. He had to earn a lot of money back. Only when he had a certain amount of money would the third branch take a second look at him. Qin Yuan's heart suddenly gave birth to another kind of motivation. He must make himself earn enough money. When he goes back to Zhao Yun'er's house, he will travel in a luxurious carriage. He does not believe that these people will not look at him. Every dog has its day. Don't look down on a young man because he was poor. They would regret it in the future. "Mother, how can you be like this? You just don't want me to come back." Zhao Ping'er replied angrily. She had kindly come back to invite them to eat at a restaurant, but in the end she was treated like this. Her mother was really trying her best to distance herself from her. Liang Jinxiao stared at Zhao Yun'er and the corners of his mouth twitched. He said indifferently, "Ping'er girl, you know what you've done. You don't need me to say more. No one knows better than you how mother treated you in the past. Now that you're living a good life and don't need the help of your family, there's no need for you to come back." "Mother?" Zhao Yun'er listened from the side. Facing a brainless woman like Zhao Ping'er, she said disdainfully, "Sister Ping'er, if there's nothing else, you can go back. My dog doesn't seem to welcome you." As soon as Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, Little He cooperatively barked at Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan. Seeing Little He baring his fangs, Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan were so scared that they took a few steps back. Qin Yuan pulled Zhao Ping'er and said, let's go. Don't stay here anymore. They're chasing you away. What's the point of being thick-skinned and staying here?" Zhao Ping'er wanted to say something but swallowed it back. She followed Qin Yuan and left Zhao Yun'er's courtyard. Along the way, Qin Yuan had a gloomy face and didn't bother with Zhao Ping'er at all. Zhao Ping'er cautiously followed behind Qin Yuan and called out to Qin Yuan, "Brother Yuan." Seeing that Qin Yuan didn't say anything, Zhao Ping was a little anxious. Why did she have to chase after him and shout, "Brother Yuan, why are you ignoring me?" Qin Yuan said impatiently, "Zhao Ping'er, what do you want?" "Big brother Yuan, are you angry with me?" "Brother Zhao Ping'er, don't you know your family's attitude? Since they look down on us, then let's not interact with each other in the future," Qin Yuan said angrily. He felt that not only did he not vent his anger today, but he also lost face. Perhaps the third branch was too rich. Even if they opened a restaurant now, they didn't care about it. "Brother Yuan, don't be angry. My mother is targeting me, not you. Let's not come here in the future," Zhao Ping'er hurriedly comforted him. They're ignoring me now. I'll wait for the day when they curry favor with me." Qin Yuan's eyes were gloomy as he said with a resolute face. The two of them returned to old Zhao's courtyard in a short while and chatted with old Zhao's family members for a while. Time passed very quickly. In the blink of an eye, the sun was about to set. Zhao Ping'er and Qin Yuan couldn't stay at old Zhao's place for the night, so they took the opportunity to go back before the sky turned dark. On the way back, Qin Yuan told Zhao Ping'er about the matter that he discussed with Zhao Xinhui. "Zhao Ping'er, I have something to discuss with you." Qin Yuan had a straight face and was abnormally serious. Chapter 2097. Qin Yuan thought that since he would have to tell Zhao Ping'er about this matter sooner or later, he might as well tell Zhao Ping'er earlier. Thus Qin Yuan said, Zhao Ping, I want to marry little aunt. I want to marry her officially and bring her back with a sedan chair. Zhao Ping was stunned. She thought that Qin Yuan was joking. Big brother Yuan, are you mistaken? You want to marry little aunt? I am your official wife. If you marry little aunt, it will definitely cause gossip. When that happens, our family will be laughed at in the village. Qin Yuan said with a straight face, yes, I want to marry you, but haven't you already slept with my brother? My brother is a fool, so marrying you with a sedan chair is just to replace him. You are my brother's wife, not mine. Zhao Ping was stunned. She opened her mouth. Hearing Qin Yuan's words made her feel very sad. However, what he meant was that he wanted to push her away so that Qin Yuan could be together with Zhao Xinhui. Zhao Ping could not take it anymore. She shouted, Big brother Yuan, how can you treat me like this? Although I slept with that fool, I didn't do it willingly. Also, didn't I sleep with you? I am pregnant with your child now. You can't possibly abandon me, right? What kind of bewitching potion did my little aunt feed you? She is such a loose woman, yet you still want to marry her? When Qin Yuan heard Zhao Ping talk about Zhao Xinhui like that, his eyes became clouded with a layer of haze. He said coldly to Zhao Ping, don't be ungrateful. It is already good enough that I let you stay here. At least you're still in our family, Qin. In the future, we'll be able to live a good life together with you. If you don't know what's good for you, then I'll directly divorce you. Anyway, your family doesn't like you now. I want to see where you can go. You jealous woman, how dare you talk about little aunt? It was little aunt who wanted you to stay. Otherwise, I would have just divorced you. It would have saved me a lot of trouble. Qin Yuan looked as if he had taken advantage of Zhao Ping. When Zhao Ping heard this, she was even more confused. Big brother Yuan? How can you treat me like this? At the very least, we were once husband and wife. I lived a hard life with you. Now that life is better, you want to kick me away and be with auntie. I won't do it. Big brother Yuan, I don't want to be separated from you. At most, I'll be your wife together with auntie. Anyway, I can't be that fool's wife. Zhao Ping looked at Qin Yuan with hidden bitterness. Her eyes were red and she looked like she was about to cry. Qin Yuan glanced at Zhao Ping. When he saw Zhao Ping's pitiful look, his heart softened. Although Zhao Ping was a little ugly and a little annoying, Zhao Ping was loyal to him. In this world, there was probably no one who was more loyal to him than Zhao Ping. Zhao Ping was willing to bear all the hardships for him. If there was anything good to eat, she would give it to him first. Now that their family was finally rich, it seemed a little too cruel for her to do all these things to Zhao Ping for him to be with Zhao Xinhui. However, he couldn't control his heart and yearned to be with Zhao Xinhui. Chapter 2098. When he met Zhao Ping's red eyes, Qin Yuan pursed his lips and said, Zhao Ping, do you want to be with me so badly? Zhao Ping nodded heavily and replied, yes, yes. Big brother Yuan, I love you so much. Of course I want to be with you. Seeing Zhao Ping's resolute look, Qin Yuan felt even more upset. I can't do anything about it even if you like me. I still want to be with little aunt. Woman, if I don't divorce you or don't let you be my elder brother's wife, how can I marry little aunt? Don't tell me you want little aunt to be your concubine? After all, if Zhao Xinhui married Qin Yuan, she would be the last one to enter the family. Naturally, she would be the concubine. Zhao Xinhui was also an elder. In addition, with Zhao Xinhui's proud and arrogant personality, she would definitely not be willing to be the concubine. Zhao Ping was silent for a moment, then said, Big brother Yuan, that's fine. At most, I'll be the concubine. It's fine as long as I can still be with you. Big brother Yuan, I really like you. Please don't abandon me, okay? If possible, Zhao Ping did not want to give in. After all, she was Qin Yuan's legal wife. There was still a reason for her to give up her man. Now, she only wanted to stay by Qin Yuan's side. At least she could be together with Qin Yuan. When Zhao Ping said this, Qin Yuan felt even more embarrassed. If he casually abandoned Zhao Ping wouldn't it make him seem like a heartless man? It was said that one should not abandon a wife who had gone through hardships together. No matter what, Zhao Ping was his first wife. She had suffered with him. Now that he had just opened a restaurant, it did not make sense for him to divorce Zhao Ping. But you and your aunt are aunt and niece after all. If I take the two of you, others will definitely gossip. When that happens, your aunt will definitely be unhappy. Zhao Ping thought about it and finally said, Big brother Yuan, why don't we do this? Just say that I'm that fool's wife. As long as you still acknowledge me in your heart, it's fine. We can still sleep together like now. We can sleep in Andy's room for a few more days as long as you come to my room occasionally a few times a month. Zhao Ping'er had swallowed her pride. She looked as if she was willing to give up everything in order to be with him. Xuanhuan could not bear to refuse her. Although he was not a good man, he still had some conscience. Then he sighed and said, "All right then, we'll do as you say." Zhao Ping'er wiped the tears from her eyes and finally breathed a sigh of relief. She said to Xuanhuan, "Big brother Yuan, you're so nice. I only want to be with you." Xuanhuan responded faintly and quickly shifted his gaze away from Zhao Yiner's face. Looking at Zhao Ping'er like that made him feel that he was not a man. He simply stopped looking at Zhao Ping'er and urged Zhao Ping'er to continue driving. Only then did he feel better. In the end, humans were all selfish. They could disregard others for a few things. However, how many selfless people were there in this world who did not have some selfish desires? If one was born to live for others, what was the meaning of such a life? There were only a few decades to begin with. Living happily was the most important thing. You're tuning in to the Sword Dance in the Vast Sky YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.